Prophet Marcello Occurrence. So this video is going to be about they got intentions to destroy us, we got intentions to destroy them. And we ain't even talking about the newcomers. We ain't even talking about the newcomers, because anybody in your life right now, if you've been gangsta off for X amount of time, we don't even pay attention to the newcomers. The newcomers is the people that just been in your life, that the gang stalkers have been in your life in the past 6 months or so, or a year to a year. Those are the newcomers, right? We don't even acknowledge them. You don't even acknowledge a newcomer. You already know what time it is. Why even acknowledge a newcomer? I don't care if it's the police sounding sirens. They just, that person had to just come into your life. Those are newcomers. Those are newcomers. We don't react to no newcomers. We don't give no acknowledgement to no newcomers. We look at newcomers as an extension of other people that already been in these situations. That's all they are. They're people that are an extension. So the more further you go down this journey of gang stalkers, we don't even take seriously no newcomers, because you're just an extension of what's been going on already. So why I'm gonna take it personal with them? They're slaves. They're slaves to someone. That's for sure. And we're not gonna acknowledge them wholeheartedly. But here's the catch: they're looking for their moment of fame to be acknowledged wholeheartedly, hoping that they're the one to defeat you, or they're the one to do something to you. That's all it is, man. We don't acknowledge newcomers because we've been through it too many times. We've been through the witchcraft too many times. We've been through all the siren sound and the sound campaigns. That's what we call it. We've been through the sound campaigns. We've been through all of that a million times. And we don't acknowledge people that just started doing it in the past year. See, that's how you do it. You don't even get personal with these people. You already know. You've seen it a million times. You know what it is. This ain't your first day at the rodeo. This ain't your first day at the rodeo, so you already know what this is. So you don't play along with the game. You don't feed into the game. It's a big difference. You don't feed into the game. You don't feed into it. That's how you move. You're not gonna feed into it. Okay? So no matter what they do to try to trigger the mind, the psychological sound campaigns to try to trigger the mind, they know what they're trying to put out. This is what I want you to understand. This is where we at. We're more advanced than that. See, what they want to do is keep you at the first stage, because at the first stage, that's where you're going to be afraid. Or you're going to be, I ain't never been afraid, but I'm just saying, they want to keep you at the first stage, because the first stage is where it's like, OMG, what is going on? You're hysterical, you're frantic, and all of this. You done been through this years, ain't you? Okay, so the Jedi mind trick is to keep you on the first stage where you act like you confused and you don't know what's going on. And you're most afraid, and you're most scared, and you're most confused, and you can make bad decisions and all of that. Once you been through this over 3-4 years, it's cruise control. Okay, so act like you're on the level that you're on. You already know what this is. You know what I'm saying? You ain't worried about what come across your mind, because you already know. Why would you give in to this at this point? Any thoughts that come across your mind, why would you give into it? You're not, I get it, because we got some kind of mental defect that makes us think this way. No, I don't. I know myself. I don't have no kind of mental defect to make me think that way. Why would I give in to these thoughts and these attacks if I already know what they're doing and I'm sitting here talking about it? So God knows you're not giving into it. That's it. God knows you ain't giving into it. Okay, so then that's what it is. You just gotta be like what Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, is you can't be delicate in honor as a general. It's one of the besetting sins of a general is to be delicate in honor. Delicate in honor. You can't be delicate in your honor. That's what I meant to say. Not delicate in sin, delicate in honor. Where you think that something can just take your honor. A wrong thought can just take your honor. That's the contrast to the art of war. Sun Tzu, this is why he's the greatest master. He already beat the gang stalkers. Because their whole thing is to make you delicate in your honor. Woo! Good like fried chicken, ain't it? Good like fried chicken. Sun Tzu already beat these people. Because all they try to do is make you delicate in your honor. They know you ain't doing nothing. But if you're a nice person, you're a nice person, you're gonna say, well, I just might as well go ahead and die. People accusing me of things and saying I did this stuff. They saying I'm a pedophile. I might as well go ahead and die. I wouldn't care if I was. If you couldn't prove it, if you couldn't put no charges on me, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm going to live with that. I'm going to live with whatever I done because it wasn't bad enough to put me in jail. I mean, look at it for what it is. You didn't go to jail, did you? That tells you everything. That tells you the time, the circumstances, everything, what it is, the context. If you get it, you follow me, all the components. If it was what it was and bad as what it was and defined as what it was, how come you ain't in jail? I ain't telling on myself. I'm telling on you. My freedom tells you I'm innocent, right or wrong. See, that's how you gotta let people know at the end of the day. My freedom it tells you I'm innocent. You slow at you. Yeah, you slow, but they supposed to be so smart, but this stuff going all over their head. If I'm in it, if I'm free, that tells you I'm innocent. Well, if I was guilty, I'd be locked up, wouldn't I? If I was guilty of something, wouldn't I be locked up? Okay, so my innocence tells you that I'm free. I'm innocent. And that's how you talk to suckers, man. You don't go no further. I'm not here for you to check me out and see. You thought I was a sucker for you to do that, and I made you pay for it. I made him pay for it. Okay, you can try to act like you clowning me. Cause that is part of that. It's part of that mentality. A clown gonna think they can clown you, and I'm too real for it. You see that now? Well, all I challenge you to do is look at your country. That's all I challenge you to do. Look at your country. Do you think you can clown me? A boy might think that. A grown man gonna say, "Oh, it ain't worth it. This ain't worth it." I don't care what he did. It's not worth it. A clown is all into the Mickey. I'm telling you, it's some goofy people here, man. They look like Mario Brothers. The little ears got ears like Mario, don't you? You know what I'm talking about? Little goofy little dudes got ears like Mario Brothers. He got ears like Mario, bro. These goofy dudes got ears like Mario, man. We know your type. You was groomed here in goofy America. All you gotta do is look at all the comedy. I'm a funny dude too, but look at the goofiness of American comedy. You can tell they goofy people. Goofy. And most black people, we ain't been on that super level of goofy. Okay, you might be silly, but you ain't on that super level of goofy, right? Right. But they are. That super level of goofy that you see on TV, that's gonna be applied with the Freemasons and the gang stalking and all of that. And that's why they can't adjust. You know why? Because we dead serious. We playing for keeps and we dead serious. That's why they can't get on our wave. You know what I'm saying? It don't coordinate. They don't coordinate with the wave that we on. Because you ain't playing no games. That's why. They can try their best. They can recruit street people. They can recruit drug addicts. They not going to get on our wave doing goofy formats. Okay, they might have been real, but as soon as they joined you, they joined a goofy format that make them move goofy. I don't care if they call 10 bodies. They could have called 10 bodies. As soon as you join this, you turn goofy, sucker. That's how a real one gonna tell you. That's just as dangerous as you. As soon as you join them, you turn goofy. I don't care nothing about your reputation. You goofy today, buddy. See, a clown don't even know that. You know what I'm saying? Think about what I just said. A clown think if we get some killers, we're gonna be tough. That's the insinuation. You might not say that, but the insinuation is if I get some killers, we gonna be tough. Not when they start doing the goofy stuff you doing. They gonna lose reputation. Right or wrong. They gonna lose reputation. Oh, you thought being real or from the streets was a immunity to being corny and falling off or being fake. No, it's not. You can lose your whole reputation doing the wrong thing out here. It happens all the time. I'm gonna give you some homework. Look at all these street people that fall off and they was real. Oh, you can fall off. You can make bad decisions and you lose all your reputation. You joining the Freemasons made you lose all your reputation. That's for the real. That's for the ones that don't join these people. Just ain't no different from somebody snitching. You could have been real before you snitched. Once you snitch, you lose all your reputation. Once you join Freemasons, you lose all your reputation. Because, and this is why, not what they try to project themselves to stand for, what they had you out here doing. They had you out here goofy. They had you out here not knowing what really happened. Come on now, we gotta mix this with the streets and reality. They had you in reality out here doing crazy stuff, looking goofy. So what's supposed to save you? Oh, being a Freemason, that's not gonna save you, buddy. That's not gonna save you, cuz. I'm telling you right now. That's not gonna save you, cuz. They ain't gonna save you, cuz. You came out here on goofy time. You know what I'm saying? You said demon time, I say goofy time. Bro, you came out here on goofy time. Ain't no street dudes acknowledging that. We ain't acknowledging that, no. They came out here on goofy time and tried to clean it up. Excuse me, brushing my teeth. I just wanted to do it. Sorry about that. A little bit. See, I don't mind being human. Sometimes you need to see people human. Don't you do the same thing? A little toothpaste drop on you. Did you lose your mind when it happened? I didn't lose mine just now. See, I'm gonna tell you what your problem is as Christians. I don't get on anybody. I'm just thinking about those who are in the struggle, which isn't you. You're the gang stalker, right? So he's gonna say, now you're getting on Christians. Buddy, you don't listen, you good as dead. You roadkill already. The gang stalker's a roadkill. Oh, you had a change of heart? I didn't. And so what? Cause you had a change of heart. I supposed to have a change of heart. It don't work like that in the real world, buddy. That's 7 out. Yeah, you had a change of heart because I'm a good person. That's what it is. Okay, so then I told you that was going to happen. Everything you going through right now, I told you was going to happen. You going to see I'm a good person. Okay, so then you going to have a change of heart, but you're not a good person. You're very simple, ain't you? You're very simple. You're very. I concluded that you're a very simple person. You are because you thought because you had a change of heart, I had a change of heart, or things would get better. Because you just decided in the middle of a war to have a change of heart. Buddy, you see how simple you are when I pick you apart. See, it took me to pick you apart. When I pick you apart, when it's me picking you apart, somebody else pick you apart, you stay all together. They pick you apart, you all together. You still look like a villain. I pick you apart, man, you look like a sucker, you look like a clown, everything. You walk away feeling like a clown. Like the little dweeb you was in the 3rd grade. You same little dweeb, ain't you? Straight up dweeb. Well, if you just went over to the nerd side, it wouldn't be a problem. The dweeb is the person that try to fit in. If you just stayed in your lane, nobody would be saying nothing to you. You get called these names because you out your lane. Dweeb, you got out the lane, dweeb. Because once you got in the other lane, you didn't know what you was doing. That's it now. So you get the words are for you to get back in your lane. Dweeb, get back over there, dweeb. You put me in this room, all these people in the building, dweebs. Couldn't do nothing to me, dweebs. Them ain't dweebs. They need to get back in their lane, they are. Well, when we find you not able to do nothing to me, we don't struggle with it. Guess what you become? You a dweeb, bruh. No, you thought we was gonna struggle with it and then give you a chance to save face. Ooh, that's it right there. We thought they was gonna be able to make it look good after they done made a fool of themselves. They thought they was gonna be able to make it look right and make it make sense when it don't. No, we ain't gonna give you no chance to make it right. You a dweeb. I figure all these people that was in them secret societies, the people, they was the little deformed person in school that everybody overlooked. That ain't the bad part. The bad part is you couldn't resist trying to come over here in the lane of the competent. Oh, I know, I get it. You thought I was like you because you don't see me working and driving a car. You thought I was one of the incompetent. Gotcha, buddy. That's what it was. You heard about me not working really, and you didn't realize I was a starving musician. A musician that thought nothing about nothing but doing music, and I got respect from famous people. My music being heard by famous people. Did you realize that? My music has been heard by a famous person. Oh, Havoc from Mobb Deep. How fitting, because Prodigy of Mobb Deep, rest in peace, he was against Illuminati. So how fitting, before this war even started, the other part of Mobb Deep that was against Illuminati gave me respect for my music, my lyrics. So now that you understand, I was taken seriously by somebody in New York City. It's one thing to be taken seriously by somebody in Kansas, a rapper from Kansas. No disrespect. A rapper from Kansas City, that's, okay, that's one thing, but to be respected from a rapper from Queensbridge? Not Jamaica, Queens. Nah, we talking about Queensbridge. I got more respect for Queensbridge than Jamaica. Okay, yeah, I do. I went over there, I seen how it is. They on goofy time over there. They on weirdo time. That part. Oh, you ain't noticed that? In Jamaica, I did. I don't care how you feel about it. I noticed they on goofy time, goofy and a cartoon and lame time. How about that? All three of them. Give you a 3-stack burger. Give you a 3-stack burger. Give you a 3-stack burger. You got a 3-stack burger, don't you? Over there on goofy time, lame time, cartoon time. Queensbridge is okay. You know what I'm saying? Havoc from Mobb Deep heard my music. You know what I'm saying? And he respected my music. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's all I need in life. I already proved that I'm a real artist. So then I can use that to prove my motives for my gaps in my work history, because I was serious about my music. So now I can show you why there's gaps in my work history. Okay, now because if somebody famous not acknowledge me, that means I had a reason to believe I was gonna make it. I had a reason to believe I had talent. I had a reason to believe these things. If somebody else seen it that was famous, well, imagine what I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. Think about it. Before that even happened, that's how I got to that point. So my music, so where you think I'm something wrong with me or something, you sizing me up like, cause you on cartoon time. You know a cartoon can't see you as nothing but a cartoon. That's a 7 hour. I got recognized by a famous rapper. Okay, that's enough for me to prove why I went the way I did, why I traveled, even why I traveled. Okay, somebody famous like your music. Now I can see why you traveled. Because you thought you had something, they thought you had something, of course you're going to think you got something. And the confirmation is they think you got something. So then a person that's left to himself, a musician that's left to himself, they think he got something. And other people, and they found out he got something. You don't think he going to make no mistakes? Of course he is. He going to think about nothing but that music. That's all he going to think about. If you get confirmed as having talent by somebody as famous as Havoc from Mobb Deep, you don't think you're going to make mistakes just being all about your music and not trying to go out here and work because you know the talent you got, you confident in that talent you got. You don't think you're going to be dodging working and really trying to do the music and just focus on the music. That's all it was for me. And for me to get acknowledged by somebody that's famous confirms everything. That solidifies why I move the way I move, and I ain't want to do nothing else, and I ain't think about no jobs and vocations and everything. I'm talented. I knew I could make it. Once a famous person heard my music, that was and they confirmed it. That's all I knew that anyway. I knew I had talent. And now you see I'm a prophet of God. You know, look at it. You missed the best thing over there. And I had already gotten acknowledged by a MC, not a gangster. He is a street person, but he's not just a street person. Some people are just street people named MCs on the mic. You know what I'm saying? Havoc is a street person and an MC. All thugs on the mic ain't necessarily MC. You know, you respect they gangster or whatever. I'm saying on that side, you respect it, but you know, they ain't really no MC. You know what I'm saying? Bar for bar. You know, Havoc is a street person and an MC. You know what I'm saying? That's a big difference right there. And he got, I'm not saying this happened, but you know, people gonna put bugs in his ear with all this stuff going on, but we don't care nothing about that, bro. Listen, he already got his opinion on how he felt about my music, and that's all I'm talking about. I ain't talking about these lame politics that you couldn't even confirm yourself. So shame on you if you out. I'm not saying anybody did it, but I'm saying shame on you if you did spread politics and you call yourself real, but you spread politics about somebody that you couldn't confirm yourself. That's why, yeah, I take points off of that. I don't care. Just like I said with the Freemasons, if you play a goofy position, then you know you can be real as they come. But you playing a goofy format. You playing a goofy position, and you also, if you're a street person spreading these informations and you didn't confirm it yourself, you playing a goofy position too. You playing a goofy position too. Oh, you thought because you was real you had a bulletproof vest in this situation. You thought you was immune to not being goofy on goofy time. Well, listen, you got caught slipping, buddy. Because you've been thorough until now. Before this, you watched everything you did, right? Before this, think about what I'm saying. You got caught slipping. Before this, you was watching everything you did in the streets. You was making sure you showed respect. You was making sure you was thorough. You know, all the legalities and technicalities of the street was in place. You was making sure all that was done. You was making sure all that was good. And then you got caught slipping with this little goofy little situation. And that's how we look at it. And ain't no way, even me, I can't be on goofy time and then come out here talking about I'm a thug and I'm a street nigga. But I can't be on goofy time and come out here with these goofy weirdos that y'all was with. So you gotta take the L's. You gotta hold L's. Half of the streets that had any part of the street that had something to do with it, you gotta hold L's, buddy. I'm sorry, what you thought? Oh, cause you was real, you was gonna be immune. You can push back on it. You can push back on it, huh? You can push back on it and be condescending like, well, yeah. Nah, not this time, buddy. You thought you could push back on it and be condescending and say, oh, well, yeah. Nah, buddy. You should have been thorough. You should have took a fine-tooth comb through this situation, and you should have knew, okay, I gotta apply the same rules I apply with the streets. I can't be on cartoon time myself with some other dude because they Freemasons, whatever. I'm gonna look at everything in terms of street rules and regulations. That's how I'm looking at it. And so if you came out here on cartoon time, be real with yourself, man. No, I know, listen, I know it can't, most of these people can't nobody do nothing to you. We know that. Because, everybody kissing your butt. I'm talking about the higher ups in the streets. We know nobody can't really do nothing to you, right? But you're really holding L's. Me and you know what's, like Tupac said, me and you and I know what's going on. You holding L's for coming out here on goofy time, bro. Be real with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. If you came out here on goofy time, it wouldn't even matter if I was fake. It wouldn't even matter if I was not realer than you. It wouldn't even matter. That part don't matter. You came out here on goofy time. That's it. All you looking at is if you realer than me. That don't matter. We talking about your position. We talking about your position where you didn't have all your ducks in a row and you really didn't know what was going on. Right? How you gonna be immune to that in that situation? Oh, so you got immunity because you real. Nobody do. Nobody does. That's why these dudes get picked off in the streets. That's why they get picked off and I don't. Because listen, I'm gonna stick to rules and regulations while everybody else say they real. Why that part? That's why I don't even have labels. I don't ever call me a gangster. I'm not a thug. I'm not a gangster. I'm a soldier. You know what I'm saying? And I listen, I'm cool with that. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a thug. Okay? But at the same time, I go by rules and regulations. I'd rather do it like that because everybody say they thugs and gangsters. You gonna hold me to this whole format. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you tell somebody you're a thug, they gonna hold you to this whole format. They gonna drag out a whole format. Like you know how people used to drag out the chalkboards, the mobile chalkboards? Remember the mobile chalkboards? Yeah, they gonna drag out a whole mobile chalkboard for you. With all these rules and regulations on this mobile chalkboard. About being a thug, well, right here, they're gonna drag it out. Here it is. How you supposed to do this and how you supposed to do that? But if I just tell you I get down for a crime if I got to, most real dudes gonna respect that. No, I ain't gonna say I ain't got no labels. I'll just get down for a crime if I got to. If I gotta protect myself, take care of my business. Okay, so then you gonna respect that. The streets gonna respect somebody that say, I ain't no thug or no gangster, but I get down for my crime if I got to. Cause it's the butt-naked truth. And that's what you're looking for anyway. You looking for somebody to tell you, I get, because a thug is a criminal. You can take the title, you can say you a thug, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna get down for a crime if I got to. That's it, that's all I'm saying. And that's facts, okay? Listen, that's all I'm saying. Now, y'all can have a label and everything. Y'all can say y'all gangsters and thugs. Y'all can go out there in gangster world and gangster parties. Y'all can have gangster parties. Y'all can have thug parties, gangster parties, thug parties, gangster parties. You club hopping between thug parties and gangster parties. You bar hopping between thug parties and gangster parties. Hey, they bar hopping, ain't they? Hey, thugs out here bar hopping. You bar hopping between thug parties and gangster parties. Okay, go ahead with your bad self. All I know is I'm willing to get down for a crime if I got to. That's it. That's all I'm talking about, buddy. And guess what? They gonna respect me more than all these dudes that's hopping around, bar hopping to thug parties to gangster parties. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just get down for mine if I got to. And people gonna respect that because basically, that's basically what a criminal is. A person that's gonna get down for their crime if they got to. I keep my weapons on me. That's just what it is. You know, while everybody else yapping and talking and saying they thugs or whatever, ain't got no weapons. Talking about they tough, talking about they street people, they street niggas and everything. Ain't got no weapons on them. So I just learned in 2026, man, just let everybody have them labels and let everybody be part of that culture, because that culture just done gone mad. Everybody think they thugs and gangsters. Okay, so then y'all, I'ma evolve, right? To the point where y'all can have all the labels, and I'm just sitting here willing to do a crime. I keep my weapons on me, everything like that, and people gonna respect me. That's it. That's all I'm saying. And I'm gonna have other aspects of life. I'm gonna live life. I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna have a good heart on top of that. I'm gonna have a good mind. I ain't consumed with thug life. I ain't consumed with gangsterisms. You know, I'm living as a human. I allow myself to cry. I shed tears. I live as a human man, a human being. While you stuck in thug life, gotta stick to these roles and everything. They dragging out the chalkboard for you. You gotta live to these roles and everything that you tired of anyway. You know, so you know, man, you know, people burnt out on the game and burnt out on it. All I'm saying is this, man. Listen, I'll do a crime if I got to. Trust and believe that. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, bro. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's cutting straight to the chase. Now, see, if somebody stay right there long enough, you think they gonna be fronting? It's the person that get in thug life and gangster life to be fronting. The person that stay parked in front of me doing a crime, you think he gonna be fake forever? I'm just saying, I ain't fake now. But if he stay there right, you feel me? If he stay right there long enough where he just think on the clear cut, doing the crime and getting his crime, his thug, not his thug on, but he getting down for his, right? If he stay parked in front of that house long enough, you don't think he gonna go in? If he stay parked in front of that house long enough, he gonna go in, right? Right, because that's all he thinking about. He ain't thinking about these other additives and paraphernalias of thug life and gangster life. He ain't thinking nothing about the streets. He think about, I'll do a crime if I got to. If he stay in that position long enough, that man gonna be willing to do a crime, and that's the bottom line. That's how you raise them up anyway. All them theatrics and all of that, nah, okay, you just willing, because you get with a real team, all they want to see is if you would do a crime anyway. Think about it. You get with real street people, they just want to see if you got the heart to do crimes anyway. That's what it's going to come down to. Right or wrong? Okay, so if a person stay parked in that place where I do a crime and I get down for mine, I stay in that mentality. I ain't thinking about none of this thug stuff, none of this gangster stuff. I'm thinking about that. You don't think you gonna try somebody like that? You gonna think that's fraudulent? You gonna think he fronting? And he telling you he'll do a crime. Listen. Who gonna stay in that position a long time and ain't gonna be about doing the crime? And they'll tell you they'll do it. See, you will think, oh well, I thought you was a Christian. Oh yeah, I am a Christian. Well, you doing some funny stuff. Nah, I ain't doing no funny stuff, bro. I live in the world where I might have to defend myself. So when I say in terms of crimes, I ain't talking about selling drugs. I'm talking about killing me somebody. If I gotta do that, you know what I'm saying? I'ma do it. And I'll take what come with it. And it's not for glory. It definitely ain't for glory, because I done been on papers. Once you done been through the system, you ain't gonna be quick to do no crime, because you know how hard it is to get out the system. I done been through probation officers. If you don't know, I done been through probation officers. I done community service. Everybody know about that community service. See, these people that's really doing crimes. You start talking about community service, now you done left the lames alone. They don't know nothing about no community service. You gotta do them certain hours of community service. I had to do community service twice. You gotta go do something, go work somewhere, basically. I had to work at a park and I had to work at a food bank. You know what I'm saying? On a food belt, sorting food and putting food in boxes, little snacks and stuff. Non-perishable little stuff. And I had to work on a belt. The first time, when I was like 17, I had community service. The second time I had community service, I had to work at a park. You know what I'm saying? Cleaning up at a park or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, once you get a taste of the system, it's two type of people. People that been in prison and people that been through the system. And each one of them know how hard it is to get a crime off of your back. You don't got to go to prison to know how hard it is to get a crime off your back. You got to go through the system, which is you get on probation. You get, in my city, in my state, you got to pay that money. You got to pay the probation officer money. You got to get them bread. That's how you know it's a game. It's a hustle. How? Man, we had to pay him. I had to pay him money. And then you realize how hard it is for a charge to get off your back. When you get older, that same charge is following you. I didn't know the charge was still on me till I went to work at a college. In Charlotte, I went to work at J.C. Smith. And I did work at J.C. Smith. That's for Charlotte people. Yeah, I had a gig at J.C. Smith University over there off of Betty Forest Road. And they did a background check and still find out I had a charge on me. So I had to go get that charge off. I had to go get it expunged. You know what I'm saying? So that's what criminals talk about, expunged. Getting your record expunged. So that's how I got my charge that's how I got that charge off. That's how you know it was serious. I got it expunged, and now I ain't got no charges. That's why you don't find no charges, because I got it expunged. And I didn't even know it was still following me, which means when employers when I would go look for a job, they were still seeing that old charge, and I ain't even know. I followed the old school mentality, like after 7 years it fall off. That's what I was told. I was told it fall off after 7 years. That's a lie. That's old school. Maybe that applied in the past, in the 60s and 70s, but ain't no charges falling off these days. Old school gonna tell you, oh yeah, you know that charge will fall off in about 7 years. So I'm thinking, okay, that charge, when I got married and I went out looking for work, that charge was still there. I didn't know. That's why I was struggling. They seen the charge and think, oh, that's a felony. I didn't even know. I was looking at these people's face and didn't even know, man. You know what I'm saying? I just went old school and thought, oh, you know, they say it's gonna fall off after 7 years. You know, people that the streets know what I'm talking about. People say that charge gonna fall off. Man, that charge didn't fall off, man. That followed me all through my most of my marriage when I was looking for work. See, when you get charges when you're young, that's what's gonna happen to you. You get a woman, if you look decent, then you struggling for work. And you don't even know why sometimes. Oh, I thought that fell off. Imagine that. Imagine it falling off. So I found out when I went to work at J.C. Smith, because they do a thorough search, right? They do a very thorough search. Because you're around kids. They want to make sure they ain't got no rapists. Because they grown women. But you still can be a sex predator raping women. So they got to make sure, you know, you ain't no weirdo. You know, so they did a thorough background check and they found out, oh, you know, yeah, you got a charge. Like, oh, whoa, hold up. So I talked to the old heads. They was like, you can get that record expunged, man. Get your record expunged. I forgot who it was, but I talked to an old head. He was like, yeah, man, go. That's the term he used. Go. All you got to do is get your record expunged. So I went downtown, you know, Charlotte, that's what we call it. I went downtown and got my record expunged. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I done been through processes of crimes and things like that. When you been through things like that, you don't let people sit and play you like you Dennis the Menace. Like you just a petty little Bart Simpson type of person. But they ain't never got no record expunged. They ain't never been none. Everything they doing is forced. You doing crimes now because you know you was a sucker back in the day. We was 100 back in the day and we changed our life. Now you trying to play catch up and you a late bloomer. Now you catching felonies, but you doing it because now you grown enough to realize you ain't gonna be nothing out here if you ain't got no charges. You ain't gonna be considered nobody if you ain't got no crimes. And that's all I talk about is crimes. You can have all the labels, say you a gangbanger or whatever you are, and we gonna ask you about crimes. That's a rapper's worst nightmare. How many crimes you did? Oh, here's the worst kept secret for rappers. Did you actually kill somebody? No, I know you make threats and all in your music. You ever notice on rap videos, rap community, they never ask them on interviews, did you ever kill somebody? All these rappers, if a real interviewer, no, let me ask you straightforward. Did you kill somebody? So you didn't manually pull a trigger and shoot and kill somebody. You know how many rappers cannot say they gotta call a body? But y'all think the world of them. I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it 100 because it's people out there that you look at and you listen to their music and they ain't called nobody, bro. And then the streets is the one that live it. The streets is the one that actually become like the rapper's mentality because he studied it over and over again and he the one that actually become the killer. That's why they don't realize we become like this. You stay in the streets long enough, listen to all this music and everything, you become real. You forced to become real. Actually, you forced to become real. How about that? How about that? You're forced to become real. Rappers can hang in Mercedes and limos and everything. They ain't never called nobody. Some of them were never close to it. Some of them wasn't even never close to catching no bodies. Let's talk about that. They was never close to catching a body. I can say I was. I was spinning the block with guns in the car. You got people that say they would never, and then they say you the lame. They say you the wankster. But they ain't never was close to killing nobody. Because once they got a buzz with the music, ain't nobody trying to challenge them, most likely. You start rapping, and then my thing is this. Most of these rappers became rappers when they was like 17, 18. Okay, so then you wasn't thugging for 10 years. You didn't get your thug on for 10 years. If you came into the rap game when you was 18, how was you thug? You wasn't even thugging for 10 years. This is how you expose all these rappers. Okay, you came in the game when you was 24. Okay, so you was thugging for 10 years from 14 to 24. Most rappers, your favorite rappers, did not consistently thug for 10 consistent years. You go check the dates. No, I'll give you some homework. Go check the dates. The prophet's gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna face everything that these rappers don't want to face. You came in the game when you was 17. You came in the game when you were a rapper. You was a rapper at 17, 18, 19. That means 10 years ago you was 9 years old. So how long was you thugging? About a good solid 5 years, like the rest of us. You wasn't thugging for 10 years. You couldn't have been thugging for 20 years. So then look at it for what it is. It's exaggerated. It's fabricated. That's what the music gonna do. Over-exaggerate this person's story. That's what got Thug Life all out of warp anyway. These dudes coming out, these rappers over-exaggerating 5 years of thugging. Like a rap street resume. You putting out, well, what did you do right here? You got your manager say, what did you do right? You know how you build a resume, right? You know how you build a resume. So what did you do from this time, And what from this time, Okay, and they gotta do that so you don't come out whack. So you don't come out fumbling. They gotta sit down and go through your history. Okay, so from this time, what you do? From this time, what you do? They gotta do that. If you talking Thug Life, somebody got to sit you down and go through your whole story. So they can be faced with the flaws. They can be faced what it is and what it ain't. A good manager gonna do that. He ain't gonna have you out there saying, yeah, you a thug. Then we find out later over here, oh, you snitched on somebody, put somebody in jail for 12 years. You snitched on some, oh, we don't care nothing about your music. Now they find that out later and you throw your whole career away and you throw others around you that made a team around you away. The people that made a team around you, they gone. Because you didn't sit down and comb through your history with a fine-tooth comb. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. You just said, oh, you was thugging. You a thug, you a street dude. Then we find holes in your story. You know what I'm saying? And the bottom line is, this is the bottom line. Most of these rappers came out between 17, let's say 17 and 24. Okay, so even if you was 24, 25, even 26, So that means you was thugging from 16 to 26. You probably wasn't. I'm trying to show you that most, especially from the young age. Now, if you remain in the streets, you got 20 years in the streets, but you ain't a rapper. I ain't talking about you. I ain't talking about the streets. I'm talking about rappers. Cause the streets go, oh, okay, they can tell you 20 years, they were partying back in the early millennium, cookouts, they got pictures of them at the cookout with the pistol on them. This is back in 2003 with a pistol on them, with chicken in the pistol. He got a chicken in the pistol. He got a piece of chicken in the pistol. Oh, he can tell you about that. But that's the streets. They didn't get out. So of course you're gonna go back to hustling, especially you get a little older, you're gonna get a little deeper. See, us that got out of it when we was young, you ain't get deeper. The streets, you know, oh, well, you turn around, you older, you already been kind of halfway thugging. You finna get deeper. I'm finna really get some weight. I'm finna get it on. Now you're a little older, you know what I'm saying? You in your 20s, you're gonna really get it on. Us that stopped out there in the streets and before our 20s, that's what makes sense. That's why it looks the way it do. The streets, you get in your 20, that's crunch time. You finna go hard. You finna go out there and get in the car. You finna be hustling, riding around on 25s. Cause you in your 20, now you got your mind to think about this stuff in the streets. You really can use your mind. See, some people didn't get old enough to really use their mind in the streets and really get no real reputation. They got out of it before that time came. And I'm not saying they're not real, but the streets is a whole different animal. You know what I'm saying? People 20, 30 years in the game. You know what I'm saying? A rapper will act like they 20, 30 years in the game. And you gotta pay attention. Okay, you became a rapper at 16, 17. Okay, so you couldn't have been thugging for a consistent 10 years, but you sound like you do. You rapping like you've been thugging for 20 years. But in reality, you only been thugging probably about 4 or 5 years. You got a little reputation, you got a little talent, you start rapping, you got on. You know what I'm saying? But it wouldn't be a problem if these people wouldn't be arrogant and come out like they've been thugging consistently for 10 years, 20 years. Your best rapper did not thug for 20 years. Not 20. They might have barely made it past 10 years. Some of your favorite rappers barely made it past 10 years of thugging in the streets. Because something gonna happen after about that time. You gonna go do prison time, you gonna catch a body, something gonna happen out there. Especially in the back of the day. Yeah, how you gonna stay out in the streets for 10 years and nothing don't happen? And you active every day. You hustling, you out there in crime time. I mean in the crime world, you out there where people just desperate and everything, all kinds of stuff. How nothing ain't gonna happen to you for 10 years? So the thing is all these people you respect that got money off of 4 or 5 years of street credibility, you know, you act like they bigger than life, but the truth is, man, they only got like 4 or 5 years of street credibility. The average rapper, that's all they got. About 4 or 5 years. Mark my word, that's it. You might have some people that got about 10, but they ain't got about 15, 18. No, they don't, man. You can even look at 50 Cent. 50 Cent ain't got no 20 years in the streets before he became a rapper. He went through dramatic things, and that beefed up his rap career. But 50 Cent, I went and checked. He barely made it past 10 years. Okay, well think about it. Go look at when 50 Cent started doing crimes. He didn't make it to 20 years. I don't think he even made it to 15 years. I think it was about 11 or 12 years he did consistently in the streets. He the one that barely made it. Well, you can say, okay, he did about 10 years in the streets. But not 20 years. Not like it's exaggerated. You know what I'm saying? Once he went through getting shot up and everything like that, that exaggerated his story. That's all I'm saying, bro. I'm not saying he's not real. I'm talking about the exaggeration where you're way above the streets. You're not way above the streets. That's all I'm saying. It's just a little exaggerated, and most street people gonna know that. You know, you can't front on them. You get around the homies, you can't front on the homies. You know what I'm saying? You know. You barely got about 10 years in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And You know, that's basically what you're gonna keep talking about. And then you got a couple dramatic things that happen. That's gonna beef up the whole story. You almost get shot up. Everybody respect it. Everybody respect it. But the truth is, man, it's exaggerated to a certain degree. You know, that just because you got shot up don't mean you was doing 20 years out there in the streets. And it don't mean you caught a body. 50 Cent probably did. Maybe now he done put a hit on somebody. Maybe he done put money on people's head throughout the, you know. But he probably ain't caught nobody, man. But look at all the songs he made. Look at all the threats. Look at all the gangster songs. When half of these people ain't caught nobody. All I'm saying is I'm just bringing everybody back down to the real world where most of us ain't really caught no bodies. We will kill people, right? But you ain't done it, and it's a big difference. See, let's talk about it. Let's be transparent. You will kill somebody, but you ain't done it yet. But then you got people around you that have killed people. Tell the white America the truth. Y'all ain't manually pulled out a gun and shot somebody. And when you first came in the game, you ain't shoot nobody. You sold drugs. Oh, we can talk that, but the Jedi mind trick is you the full gangster that killed somebody. No. There's a lot of drug dealers, but there's more drug dealers than killers. Oh, it's a plenty of drug dealers. People trying to get money. That's common sense. If you really look at it fully for what it is, I mean, it's going to be a lot of drug dealers. But catching bodies is a whole different animal. Half of these rappers didn't catch no bodies, man. Your favorite rapper didn't catch no body, but you listen to the music and felt like he did. You look at his music now and feel like he did. That's the exaggeration. That's the business. That's the business part, the business aspect of how the streets came into the music and all of that. And it's fabricating this guy like a wrestler. You know, the wrestler come out before he wrestled. He got his walk to the ring, right? He's like, dum, dum, he got his music. That's the rapper. The rapper's walking to the ring, that's his music. And you standing there scared because you hear all this music and the smoke and mirrors, and he got this thunderous theme song, and he coming out like that's how the rap game is. These dudes coming out, and I'm not saying they ain't criminals. I'm not saying they ain't do crimes, but the main thing people talk about is dope selling. But the insinuation is they can get on the track and talk about killing people and everything. That wasn't even your lane. You ain't even manually do it, so you didn't do it. Let's talk about how many rappers talked about doing it but didn't do it. Let's be real. Let's talk about how many, come on. See, I'm bringing it all back down to the real world past the business aspect. They're going to beef them up like that. Now we at the end of the world, so let's talk about it. How many of these rappers over the years never killed nobody? And it was like wrestling. But you respected them like dudes you do know that did catch bodies. You respected them the same way, but they didn't catch no bodies. How many rappers you just rolled around and looked at them and just got scared? You just get scared of these dudes. They ain't even caught no bodies. See, I done popped that cherry where I done been around people that call bodies. I done looked in the face of killers. That's what I'm saying. And you more scared of the street. You more scared of a rapper than the streets. But you got reason to. Because now they can put money on your head. I mean, that's the catch-22. Okay, I mean, they ain't killers, but you know, they got enough street cred and everything. They got a little money and they still criminal-minded. You know what I'm saying? Now they can put money on your head. You know what I'm saying? So then the threat, even though they ain't catch no bodies, they still remain a threat. You know? And then they get to hold back in this persona as that threat that they can be to you. So see, that's how it evens out. But the truth is, they ain't manually caught nobody. In all their history, they gonna talk about drugs, but they ain't caught no bodies, bro. See, I learned that the drug dealer and the killer is infatuated with each other. The killer wanna be the drug dealer. The person with the mindset to kill people want the drugs and the girls and the glitz of the streets. And the street dude with all of that, with the glitz and everything, the hustler, that might have family that came from selling drugs, right? His family might be selling drugs. He wanna be the killer. So it's this love relationship between drug dealers and killers, but they not one and the same. Drug dealers and killers is not one and the same, but it gets insinuated. It gets insinuated. A killer gonna tell you about the little drug, the little crumbs of cocaine he sold. We all gonna do that. All the killer, but the killer is more just an assassin. You know, he somewhere along the line, he went more towards killing people than selling drugs. But he gonna talk about the little cocaine he sold, but he gonna keep it 100 and so he say he ain't sold no weight. You know what I'm saying? He ain't sold no weight, but he do know about selling a little crack a little bit, cutting up crack a little bit. You know what I mean? But really, see, he infatuated with that part. That's the whole story, is the drug dealer and the killer. You know what I'm saying? So the drug, each one of them gonna talk about the other part that they ain't got. You know, the killer gonna talk about, selling little drugs. He gonna tell his stories over and over again. And the drug dealer gonna tell you how he had little rush-ins with people and everything, and everything. He almost killed somebody or something like that, or the guns he got and everything. Still ain't no killer. Still ain't somebody that killed somebody. In other words, people got registered guns. The insinuation is I'm a killer. You ain't caught nobody. I'm just bringing everything back down to reality. I'm telling you stuff that these rappers, you can go through, you can go talk to the best of them. They couldn't challenge Tupac like that. They couldn't challenge NWA. They ain't challenge Jay-Z and just ask him, have you killed somebody? Yes or no? He gonna say, no, I never killed nobody. Now you see Jay-Z totally different. I mean, he's still real, you know what I'm saying? He put some money on somebody's head. But did he manually kill somebody? We know he didn't, man. We know he didn't. But that's the insinuation. But you listen to the music, you listen to the streets, that's the insinuation. But did he manually catch a body? Yes or no? Okay, so then he down here with the rest of us. Okay, they all are down, most of them are down here with the rest of us, where we will kill somebody if we got to, but have we done it? That's the question. That's the question. 50 Cent probably he ain't killed nobody. Jay-Z didn't kill nobody. Wu-Tang Clan, most of them probably ain't killed nobody. Now they know killers, of course. Of course. That's where most of us are at. You know killers, yeah. That's for sure. I wouldn't doubt that 1 minute. Not for 50, not for Jay-Z, not for Wu-Tang. But did they catch bodies themselves? This is what they won't talk about in interviews because it's going to challenge your street cred to the full degree. See, the full degree challenge of your street cred is, you talk about being a gangster and a gangbanger and all this shoot 'em up, buck bang to the pow, buck bang to the buck to the bang. But did you kill somebody? No. Okay, that changes everything. Because now people get the challenge, well, we don't really know. We don't really know if that person, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because you could get, you in this role, and now it's money in this role, you're going to be aggressive about this role. Think about it. You start seeing that money come in, that's different from the streets. You start being a rapper, you see that money coming in, hey, I got to play this role. So then you become corrupt, where you would kill somebody to keep this money in this position. Let's understand. Let the streets understand. All these people that you idolize, most of them may have less than 10 years before they became rappers, and they still ain't catch no bodies. They wasn't no man. Jay-Z ain't no killer. Come on, he ain't catch nobody manually. Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's the one always talking about buck bang, buck to the pop to the pow, buck bang, buck to the pow, buck to the bang, buck to the bang. Bone Thugs, the main one talking about buck bang. Buck to the bang, buck to the pow, buck to the bang. Buck to the bang. Buck to the bang. Buck to the bang. Ain't caught no bodies, ain't killed nobody. All Mo Thugs, ain't none of them Mo Thugs, the Mo Thugs with the Bone Thugs, ain't none of them catch no bodies. Seven Sign with Busy Bone, ain't none of them catch no bodies. Ain't none of them catch no, did they manually kill somebody? Out of all of them, I heard that one of them may have. You know what I'm saying? But come on. Did they all kill somebody? No. But you sitting back respecting them like this dude you do know that did kill somebody. You do know people. If you black, you most likely you do know people that kill people. But they didn't do it. These rappers didn't do it. Now you see what I'm saying. You do know killers, right? If you live long enough, if you black, you're gonna run up on a killer. And they gonna tell you, yeah, I killed somebody. If you black, right? But that's not half of these rappers, man. Half of Bone Thug, 1/5 of them might have caught a body. One of them might have did. I heard one of them. I think they say Busy Bone I think they say he did. But that ain't the other 4 Bone Thugs and Harmony members. That ain't all of them. You got 4 other parts of Bone Thugs. 1/5 ain't gonna make it. All that buck to the bang, buck to the power, buck to the pain. 1/5 of them killed somebody. All the stuff they talking about. But 1/5 of them killed somebody manually. So they didn't manually take a gun with all that paraphernalia they talk about. All Bone Thugs talk about killing somebody and buck to the bang, murder, every song murder. That's not just Busy Bone. That's all of them. So can Busy Bone vouch for everybody? So with Busy Bone catching the body, can he vouch for all the Bone Thugs members with they solo albums talking about murder? He can't vouch for a murder album on a solo album that he ain't on. He ain't on the album. How can he vouch for it? How can he vouch for what's talked about? All these other solo Bone Thug albums, and nobody manually called a body. I'm just saying, let's just bring everything back to proper perspective, because they'll look at you like you the wankster. I'm looking at it like it is. You ain't manually catch no bodies, bro. And I'm not saying you won't kill nobody, but you're insinuating like you over here with the dudes that have killed people, but that's not you. So you gotta be over here with us. That's real. You can say whatever. You can say you ain't no buster, but you ain't caught nobody. And then I can show you people that have. I can show you people I've been around that kill people and you didn't. You was talking about buck to the bang, buck. I've been around people that kill people. And they ain't talking about no buck to the bang, buck to the pow, buck to the bang, buck to the bang. I heard barely that one of them might have killed somebody between Bone Thug with Busy. We don't even know if that we don't really know what that was. I halfway heard it. But then they'll tell you a million stories over and over again. They'll talk about everything over and over again. But they don't talk about catching no bodies. I mean, you might as well. I mean, you done did the time for it. hey, how you gonna incriminate yourself? A criminal, no, I ain't gonna incriminate myself. I've already did time for it. I already been charged with it. How I'm incriminating myself? Well, and then if they ain't got no evidence on it, they only got testimony anyway. Well, they ain't gonna. That's what a criminal gonna say. If I say something on tape about me killing somebody, they gotta go get evidence of that. A testimony ain't gonna be good enough. The court's gonna ask for evidence. So you see how we clear out all these people. And while we on the subject of Busy Bone, I already told you about him when he was on his live one time and he was drinking, and God be my witness, bro. I do not lie, man. I don't lie. I confronted it. I made a video. His fans seen it and everything. That's how you know I'm 100. Because I confronted the situation. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I wasn't looking for fault in him. I wasn't looking for fault in Busy Bone. I love their music. But just like the lions are in the streets, a lion gon' growl when a dog gon' growl when he sees some weakness. You know, a dog sees something fake. You know what I'm saying? We gonna do the same thing in the streets. We been out here the whole time. They got off the streets. We stayed out here. So anytime we see something that's flaky, we gonna growl. We gonna growl because something ain't right about it. That's all it is, man. And you can't even take it personal. Especially when somebody say they like your music. I mean, they just going by technicalities. That's all it is. Because I was just sitting there just watching them, not as a hater. I was just sitting there watching because it was somebody I listened to when I was younger, right? So you finally get up to the internet time and you go to your favorite rappers, right or wrong. I did nothing different. So I seen the rappers I used to listen to back in the 90s. If you're an older person, you had all these rappers you listened to in the 90s. So when you got older and the internet came out, it was a pleasure to be able to see these guys talk openly and just regularly. That's how it was. That time has passed to me, but You know, I listen to a couple people. Boosie is one of the realest rappers. Boosie is one of the realest rappers. Now I understand why he say Boo Pac and call himself Pac and all of that. Cause I mean he 100, man. He tell the truth about black people and everything. He don't just talk about the streets. He talk about black people. He told y'all that conspired against me. Y'all gotta pay for y'all sins. He said we gotta pay for our sins. That's what Boosie said about the black community. What you think he was referring to? All this stuff that's going on. Y'all gotta pay for that. And Boosie was real enough to say it. Y'all gotta pay for y'all. He said we. That's what make it 100. He didn't say y'all. He said we. So Boosie to me is like one of the realest out there, man. That's just what it is, man. Chief Keef too, I like him. He 100 from Chicago, you know, from the old block. You know what I'm saying? I respect him. Chief Keef and Boosie, man, that's really all these other dudes, man. They gonna play these star personas and everything like that. You know, they beyond trying to be 100 and real in the street. And matter of fact, they might censor that, you know, to get more money. You know what I'm saying? They'll be censored to get more money. They gonna have a prestige, you know what I'm saying, mint condition. They gonna have a mint condition thug life reputation. They gonna have a mint condition, you know what I'm saying, where it makes sense to art lovers, people that like Leonardo DiCaprio Leonardo da Vinci. Well, Leonardo DiCaprio too. It's gonna make sense to them type of people. These artsy people, well, yeah, I was thugging over here, and then, you know, I was a young black hood, and you know what I'm talking about. Well, you ain't being ghetto, and you know, you say you ain't keeping 100 with all this stuff going on right now. You know what I'm saying? You might have been 100, but back in the, you know, but now you ain't 100 as you used to be. You know what I'm saying? But you're still collecting respect and all of that and credibility like you 100 like you used to be. That's what I'm saying. Things change. People change. I seen Bizzy Bone on one of his lives, and it was called Drinks with Bizzy Bone, something like that. Something like you would see on a reality show. You know, something that Drinks with Bizzy Bone. I'm not lying, bro. And in this one live, I'm gonna tell you how you can find it. It was probably around August you can go through the archives if you still got that page up. And this is how confident I am in this. This was between July and September of, which ain't gonna be hard to find. There ain't a million videos. It's gonna be between August 2021 and to September 2021. You could even go to October maybe. But from August to October 2021, there's a video in all those videos where he's saying drinks with Bizzy Bone, unless he got rid of it because I said something. Maybe he got rid of it. You know what I'm saying? But I was just watching as a, you know, a regular person that just. So what happened was on the live. This was live, right? He was on live. So he was like taking a bottle of wine. He gonna tell you he wasn't drinking. That's why I don't know, man. I don't know what people's mind be at. He after that he said he ain't drank in a long time. He started denying. People would do anything to protect their money. He said listen. I promise you, man. I'm not lying, bro. This dude had a bottle of wine. Everybody know he got a drinking problem. His fans know that. He had a bottle of wine. He was opening the wine on live, playing with the. That's the time. That's the time when you are gonna hear it after that. He gonna say it after he opened that bottle of wine. When you find the video, Drinks with Bizzy Bone, and you go from August to October of 2021, you gonna find if he real enough to leave that video up, he gonna be opening a bottle of wine in a little nook and cranny, like in front of a video, in front of a camera, like in the corner. He gonna be like in the corner. He ain't gonna be standing up. He gonna kind of be in the corner, like. And so I can remember how it looked at everything. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't got no reason to assassinate somebody's character. I ain't got no reason to do that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no reason to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, and I like their music. I like the music, but I realized they didn't really, the way they put, the bad thing about Bone Thugs and Harmony, that all that Buck to the Bang stuff, and then they became something all together different. Like as time went by. That's what most people gonna tell, especially the fans that like the dark part of Bone, when they was talking about the Ouija boards and all of that. People gonna say Bone changed. They see Bone got two fan bases. When they was dark from East 99 and back. From East 9, they know this too. From East 99, that East 99 album, East 99 Eternal album, and back, you got the dark Bone Thugs and Harmony fans that like all that dark DJ Unique kind of music. Then after DJ Unique, which was their formula, that was the Quincy Jones to the Michael Jackson. You know how Michael needed Quincy for the Thriller album. And basically DJ Unique was they Quincy Jones for their Thriller album, which was East 99 Eternal. That was the best Bone Thugs and Harmony album. It was when they was young, good and young, and thuggish. And that was the best album, right? After that Thriller album for them, that was their Thriller album. After that, they started getting with these other producers and all this stuff, and the formula was just thrown off. And the reason why is because they wasn't into that dark stuff that they once was in. That's part of the formula. That's the reason why half of it messed up. The second part is they didn't have DJ Unique anymore. They didn't have DJ Unique anymore, and the formula was quirky. You know, these beats they was using wasn't hard and dark, and it didn't fit the Bone formula that everybody liked. So that's why I'm gonna tell you, that's why Bone didn't. Everybody said why they didn't make the money they made, because Bone did not stick to that dark formula they had and they came out with, that they formed their whole base on. That's why. If they would have stuck with DJ Unique, I don't know. They need to talk about what they talk about when Bone they do interviews. They tell the same stories. You notice that? Won't you talk about DJ Unique? What happened with that? That part. What happened with DJ Unique? You're gonna tell the same stories about who's fighting all these arguments between Bone, Crazy Bone shooting Wish in the leg, and all of that. They gonna tell that a million times, they gonna tell you how they had crack, a million pieces. Lazy Bone gonna tell you he had 100 pieces of crack. I know all their best stories. I know, no disrespect, but I know all their best stories, because Lazy Bone is the coolest one to me out of all of them. I see why he the leader, because he the coolest one. So it ain't no disrespect to him at all. The most problematic ones was Crazy Bone and Busy Bone. That was Crazy kind of, you can't really say emotionally, mentally, he was the most problematic. But then at the end of the day, he still ended up in a lot of arguments between him and Busy and all of that. So, whether it was directly or indirectly, Crazy Bone and Busy Bone was the most problematic. Busy Bone was the #1 problematic person in that group. But the reason why they formula did, Wishbone wasn't in nothing. Wish was the most blameless in the whole group. Wish didn't never do nothing wrong. And then after that come Lazy. Lazy ain't got no problems. Ain't nobody gonna challenge him in that group. Ain't nobody gonna ever have no problems with Lazy Bone. You know what I'm saying? So Wish, Lazy, and Flesh, which is the brothers. Which sums it up, which makes perfect sense. The brothers in Bone, the real brothers and family, Wish was cousin, was Lazy and Flesh cousin. That's their real blood cousin. Okay, family ain't gonna have no problem usually. Especially back in the day. But the Bone members that wasn't family, blood family, them was the ones that were the problem, which sums it up. And that's the reason why. Because family gonna stick together. You know what I'm saying? Flesh and Lazy and Wish gonna be family. Real family. Most of Bone is real family. That's why it's like that. But the other two, the one that ain't family, that's the ones that, however you want to look at it, them was the ones that was the most vocal about all the stuff that was going on. Wish didn't really say nothing. So even though Crazy might have not been part of what you might call the struggle of the situation, but he was the most verbal. Wish chose not to be verbal. Lazy chose not to be as verbal as Crazy. So see, at minimum, Crazy was was one of the most vocals on all the problems between him and Crazy and him and Busy and everything like that. And sometimes being most vocal can be taken out of context. Even that can be taken out of context as a problematic, or it's a problem in the situation. Lazy wasn't saying nothing. Wish didn't never say nothing. Flesh when he got out of prison, Flesh said what he said about how Bone let the group go to crap, because they wasn't really doing it. He talked about, he kept it 100 when he got out of prison, because when you in prison, you got time to slow down and realize how much time people wasting. So that's all he really said, you know what I'm saying? But he was vocal at one time, but Flesh really did catch real crimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, Flesh is real, you know what I'm saying? And, but yeah, because he pulled the AK-47. Everybody know the story, man. When somebody came over in his backyard or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that's 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he did what he did, you know what I'm saying? But he pulled it on, that's from my understanding. Or he had some other kind of arms and everything that he got, arrested for, But, once again, do people catch bodies? That's a different story. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta keep it 100 about that. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to say, oh, I believe people will, but it's a difference between will catch a body and have caught a body manually. It's a whole different situation. That's what they gonna tell you in the prison system. That's what thugs gonna tell you in the prison system. Okay, you ain't catch nobody, then you will, but you haven't. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying, that half of these rappers is over there with the rest of everybody. But the main reason Bone Thugs went wrong is because they didn't keep the same formula that they formed their fan base on. They didn't form their fan base on all them other songs with Phil Collins, Take Me Home. That ain't the feel that people wanted from Bone. People wanted that dark, DJ Unique, kind of mysterious beats. If the beats wasn't dark, they had to stay mysterious. You feel me? The beats didn't stay mysterious. That was your whole. See, if they had the right managers and the right record labels, people would have told them, man, and they probably did in so many ways. Some of that music, man, y'all putting out experimental music. Bone started putting out experimental beats and everything. That's what messed up. That's why people don't think Bone get the respect they deserve. It's because Bone did not stick to the formula that made them successful. All that dark stuff. See, I'm not saying you sold your soul, but once you came in like that, with that whole murder and demons and all of that, and demons surround me, and Ouija boards, and you formed your base off that. You decided to switch up and kind of be talking about the Lord, talking about Jesus, talking about the Lord. Okay, you're gonna lose all these Ouija board dark people. You're gonna lose all these demon time people. You're gonna lose all. That's the first fan base of Bone. The second fan base was those who seen Riding Dirty with Crazy Bone and these collaborations they made with Biggie and Pac. Now you got a fan base that's seen those collaborations, right or wrong. And the only thing you really like was the collaborations that Bone made with Pac and Big and Big Pun and Snoop. Throughout the years, Bone collaborated with a lot of people. So you got fans that are fans of Bone because of the collaborations. But then they don't go into the crates of none of that stuff, only back to the East 99 album. That's the only thing they're going back to. That's the only thing people treasure in Bones. In Bones catalog, the main album everybody treasure is East 99. That's the main one. Faces of Death. That's how you know I'm a fan of Bone. But I went and watched the real videos of Faces of Death. If you don't know what that is, I remember that back in the day, getting that from the video store. Faces of Death show you all these ways people die and all this stuff. It's just like documentaries about people dying and surgeries, showing you open surgeries, people organs getting taken out and all that kind of stuff, man. I watched Faces of Death. It's a whole bunch of Faces of Death. Like it's documentaries on people dying, just all kind of weird, strange ways. So I'm just guessing that they probably was influenced to make these albums called Faces of Death based off the documentaries of Faces of Death back in the 90s. So I remember, I know a little bit about that album. I didn't really get into that. You know what I'm saying? The flow was a little different. I think that's what kind of made people kind of really didn't get into it. The beats was obviously different and everything, but it definitely had that dark feel. It was more than one album that had that real dark feel from East 99 and back. After East 99, this is the reason why they probably changed their formula, which they made that song, The Crossroads. And that's another fan base for Bone. So then ironically, Bone literally went to the crossroads. From dark music to this bright music about the afterlife and going to heaven. And you see, I'm telling you, this is what happened. This is what happened. And then you got the original Crossroads. That's just more about the streets that Tupac heard. Tupac said he heard the song Crossroads, the original Crossroads, when he was locked up, right? Right. But that kind of wasn't really, bright and talk about going to heaven and, just talking about death, right? Basically. Like Bone do. But the second Crossroads was more, you seen Eazy-E in the video. It was heart-wrenching. People dying in the video and the angel of death coming, and that's what it was. Now that I'm older, I know that's what it was. It was like the angel of death, and so then Bone got a fan base where people expect them to put out that that song, Meet You at the Crossroads. Now Bone is seen like these kind of inspirational people. That's how crazy their career is. They went from talking about demons and darkness and I'm talking about how black people took them to the Ouija boards, all that dark stuff, everything. And then they did Crossroads. And once Crossroads video came out, that's what got everybody, because they wasn't getting the album. Once the video came out, everybody liked the flow, everybody liked the style and everything. And it was talking about life and dying. And once we realized what it really was about really life and dying and everything. And see, people took and perceived Bone like that. So then what you do? Now you got to kind of go in that direction, because you got people that like that inspiration. But then you got the old fan base, the original fan base that like all that dark stuff. See, that's what was the confusing thing about it. And people change. We're allowed to change. Everybody change, right? So change is good. Change is always good. But when it comes to that industry, music industry, man, that's why Bone didn't get. That's why they wasn't up there with the Jay-Z's and all of that and everything. The legend goes that Bizzy Bone beat Jay-Z in a freestyle. He won money and beat Jay-Z. That's the legend, you know what I'm saying? So, I know the real history. The legend is Bizzy Bone beat Jay-Z in a freestyle. You know what I'm saying? In a rap battle. I mean, it wasn't really a rap battle, who can rap the best, and he just kind of won. I guess you can say it like that. But, maybe that's the reason why they didn't ever collaborate with Jay-Z, because of the ego. You know what I'm saying? That's everybody know that's facts. He got in it was just a sport rap battle, and he won. Bizzy Bone won, and he got money for it, from my understanding. I think it was $50. I heard. I don't know, more than that maybe, but I heard it was like $50. Anyway, back to Bizzy Bone. So Bizzy Bone's on the live. Open a bottle of wine. I think I'm guessing from my memory, he started drinking it, right? Started drinking some wine, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just like normal, tipping. So somebody asked him, this is how you gonna know the part. Somebody asked, one of the people on live asked him, because it's live, right? They asked him, this is how you know I ain't lying. Somebody asked him, what's your favorite guns? Which is a fitting song, which is a fitting question for Bone. Buck bang to the pound on every song. They even said it. Why one of the members even said, people say why we talk about murder on every song. They realized that. Okay, so one of the fans asked, Busy by himself on his own page and on live by himself, not with any other member of Bone. Him by himself while he drinking some wine. Okay? What's your favorite gun? That's when the conversation starts. That's where you can chime in right there. All you gotta go and do is find the video where one of the fans are asking Busy, what is your favorite song? What is your favorite gun? Right? What is your favorite gun? From there, Busy Bone starts to describe. This is the part I have a problem with. He asked the live, what is that on the back of the gun? He's describing guns. He says what? Now he's asking the live. He's asking people on live. This is past the question of what's your favorite gun. He goes on to describe a gun and asks what is that on the back of the gun? You should know you're a rapper. Not even Bone Thugs, you are a rapper. You should have all these bars about the whole gun, the whole makeup of the gun. You should have bars about the clip, the magazine. You can say magazine, you can say clip, the trigger, the recoil, the kickback. You got different slangs and words to play around with the whole gun thing. I am not lying, bro. I was sitting right there just casually watching this guy. Not even looking for nothing. I'm talking about blindsided. Let's note that I'm blindsided. I'm not looking for contradiction in this guy. I'm not looking for nothing. I'm just sitting there chilling and looking at his live, right? That's how it is. I'm not sitting there, I'm not being critical of him. I'm not going there to be critical of him. Let's make that clear. I'm not going there to be critical, right? Okay, so I go there, and he's talking about what's the thing on the back of the gun. That's exactly how he described it, right? That's how you gonna find it. He said, what's that on the back of the gun? We call it a hammer. Right? He didn't even know what a hammer was on the back of the gun. For Bone, I would have let anybody else ride. Bone, I can see for some MC, you know what I mean. Maybe a conscious rapper. I would have let it go if you really kind of didn't know what was on the back of the gun. But you're talking about guns, so you got a little bit of credibility. You're talking about guns. But okay, you ain't know what the hammer was. Busy Bone specifically was asking his fan base now, what is that on the back of the gun? Bro, I cannot make, I am not lying, man. I'm telling you, I'm not lying. This dude said, what is that on the back of the gun? God knows this is the truth, bro. I'm not saying this to make you see him differently, but it's what it is. If you're a rapper, how you don't know what a hammer is on the back of the gun? That's the easiest thing to understand. That's all you're going to see on the gun. Think about it. That's one of the main parts of the gun, where you can click it back without cocking it, right? You know what I mean? Where you can click that back and pull it like that, or you don't have to. Make sense? You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. Now I'm making sense. Okay. You can click that back, right? How you ain't gonna know something like a hammer on the back of a gun? How you ain't gonna know about that? How you ain't gonna know what a hammer is? He did not know what a hammer is on the back of a gun. He asked the live. That's what made it so bad. I was like, man, I wouldn't have put that video out. If he did get rid of it, I kind of understand. But yeah, so when it comes to guns, the hammer is on the back of the gun, right? On these pistols, on the pistol, right? On some guns, you can pull back the hammer, and you can shoot it like that, right? Right. Okay. So you can cock it back, and the hammer's already pulled back when you cock it back, right? But I'm sure there's also guns. See, I'm still in the vicinity because I'm still talking about different guns, right? You can cock it back, and the hammer's back, right? And it's ready to push forward. If I'm not mistaken, there's also guns that you can pull back the hammer and then just shoot it like that. Not considering that you got to cock it back, right? But my point is this. This dude, at least either way it go, I'm in the vicinity of being correct. And I'm not wrong in any situation with saying those things that I just said. But this dude didn't even know what a hammer was. Much as he talk about guns, you would think he would have put that in the song. I got my hammers, I got this, and I got my hammer. And that's a New York slang. What make it so bad? Dudes talk about, yeah, let me go get my hammers. That's New York slang. That's not Midwest slang. That's not down south slang. But I've heard New York dudes, yeah, I need me a hammer. I gotta go get these hammers. But if you a rapper, you should know all this slang. That's what I'm saying. So I'm tripping off of how you don't know what a hammer is on a gun. I can't believe this. This is bone. Now you see why I'm tripping. It would be different if they wasn't talking about guns all the time. That's what I'm so appalled about. Like, not you, not y'all, that don't know what the gun is. Or the right terms for the guns. Much as y'all talk about guns in your music, how he don't know what a hammer is on the gun, bruh? He asked live. He asked them on live. And how you gonna be able to find it is when he opening the bottle of wine and then somebody asks him on live, what is his favorite gun? He verbalizes this person on live. You know how you say what the question is. He says, what is your favorite gun? He gets into that. And then he says, oh, what is the thing on the back of the gun? Oh, the hammer. This is a grown man, bro. Well over into his manhood. At that. How he don't know what the hammer is on the gun, bro? Now listen, how much ghetto is that? A ghetto person gonna know what the hammer is? So you can't say it's cause he ghetto. Cause a ghetto person gonna learn that. They might not know what recoil is. Recoil is the kickback on the gun. You gonna just call it kickback. Yeah, that gun kick back. That's the kickback. That kickback strong. You might say that instead of saying the recoil. The recoil is the proper terminology, right? How you gonna not know what the hammer is on the back of a gun? That's all I'm saying. Am I wrong for feeling this way? This is Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. They supposed to know everything about guns. That's what I'm saying. I could see if it was a conscious rapper. No disrespect, like maybe like Common or something. You know, Common might say, what's that on the back of the gun? What's the hammer? What's that called on the back? Okay, you kind of talk about guns. Okay, so, you know, you kind of get the credibility, you know, you don't really talk about guns, so everybody just interested in you talking about guns, right? So you gonna get a pass. But not the person that's always talking about guns, bruh. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't saying that for y'all to see him any differently. You know what I'm saying? I'm just showing you, you know, what it is, man. That's why, like, you know, but in my whole point of going down that rabbit hole is talking about people that really call bodies. You know what I'm saying? Most of Bone Thugs, one of them might have did, and then you got 4 other parts that didn't catch no bodies. You know what I'm saying? They talked about buck to the bang, buck to the pow. So, but nobody manually shot and killed somebody. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. Let's just put everybody in the proper context and stop acting like people over here with bodies. And they not. Because you esteeming them like they do. Like they got bodies. You esteeming Jay-Z like he called bodies. He didn't. But you esteeming him this way. That's the problem. You can at least say Tupac shot somebody. Why it's popular to go through Tupac's whole life, like people try to do me, because that's what people gonna do. On the note of talking about Bizzy Bone, man, I would just like to say this, man. You know, nobody's above criticism. You know, if you famous, you can't come above criticism. We all get criticized. You know, that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? You learn from your mistakes. You learn from what people talking about. You grow from it. If you're humble enough, you grow from it. You know, because there ain't no reason a person should be talking about, they don't know what a hammer is, and they talking about guns on every song. You know, you got to know, if drinking calls you to do that, you need to stop drinking on live. That's the truth. Because I definitely seen him had a bottle. That was one live. That was not 2 different lives. You know, if it was the alcohol, man, you got to stop drinking, bro. I don't know if he presently is, because that was some time back, but, you know, And me, myself, I done took a whole year off from drinking. I ain't drank in like July, August, September, October, November, December, January, 7 months. I ain't drank in 7 months. I ain't drank none in 7 months. So, you know, I practice what I preach, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta take a break off, bro. When you start, don't even know what you're saying on live and everything, you know, I don't know if that's what it was, man, because rappers are so used to drinking and smoking. I mean, they can talk through everything. It's just no excuse. Rappers so used to being focused while high and drunk, I don't give any excuses. I don't accept any excuses. I know what I know. See, I'm the type of person, man, in my life, I found stuff about, I seen people make mistakes right in front of me, right? And it's not my fault that you made the mistake. But because I'm a prophet and it's exposed, you know, people, because I got that exposure thing, right? People try to do it on me and they wind up getting exposed. Like my brother, the only reason he went through all of this is because of a woman. That's the only reason. His wife was attracted to me. That's the real reason. So I don't try to do this to people, man. You know what I'm saying? And they wind up despising me because of you made a mistake. You ever been with somebody, around somebody like that? They know you become their little dirty secret. You yourself, because you know something about them. You seen them fall off, and you know, in a funny way. So they gotta make you look crazy and stupid in order to keep that little dirty secret, because you embody that whole dirty secret. You know, so like, you know, I'm just saying, man, you listen, all I'm saying is with my brother is this, man, you know, we care about what this is really about. Now you can talk about whatever else, but I know what it really is about. And when we find out that you went to the family and told the family that I slept with your wife, we know this is what this is all about, which means you wouldn't have said nothing about nothing else if that wouldn't have happened. And that's what I'm saying. And that tells you also the nature of what else you talking about. Okay, that's why we need details, because we know you wouldn't have said nothing about nothing else if your wife wouldn't have been attracted to this man, right? Okay, so that's how we esteem how bad whatever else you're talking about, because we knew you wouldn't have said nothing about it. Okay, so we want details of what happened. We're not making it up, trying to say what happened, because we know you're doing all these things to make a certain narrative because your wife was attracted to your brother. And just because of that, we can't stump. Just because you go into his family and telling the family that he slept with your wife, that's unforgivable too. You put hands on your own mother. His mother told him. Tremaine put hands on his own mother. Oh, he didn't tell you that? My mom told me that. And God is my witness. God is my witness. My mother told me Tremaine pushed her or shoved her like that. With his hand, like pushed her like that. She volunteered this information. I wasn't fishing for information. She volunteered this information to me. He put hands on his own mother. When he owed his mom and his mother and his family money, his dad's money, he went and bought his wife clothes instead of paying his family back, instead of paying his mom and his dad back. That's a sucker. That's a trick. My wife gonna wait. She gonna wear them same busted shell toes Adidas until we get more bread. I ain't going to buy her nothing. See, he was dolling his wife up, that type of dude. Dolling her up, trying to get all these different scenarios and different clothes. You know what I mean? Getting all these different scenarios. You know how it is. If a dude join that project, it's an ongoing lifetime project. You dogging her up? You think you're going to be able to stop that? You not. He went to the point where he didn't even pay my mom back money. She told me. She told me this. So how you going to be mad at me for what she told me? That's what I'm saying. It was significant enough to her for her to tell me. She told me he owed her money and everything. She owed him money. Listen, she had to get a restraining order to get him out her house. She told me that too. That's a trifling person. Your mom had to get a restraining order to get you out the house? Yeah, I got more manhood than that. If I'll stay at the house for anybody else. A female try to do that, that's different. Because a female trying to kick you out to win the argument or to get rid of you because you talking or whatever. Most times it's because you talking. Every black men know this. A woman gonna call the police to get you out the house to win the argument or to stop you from talking. She just want to get rid of you. Okay, so if you ain't a black man that had a woman call you the police on you, I don't know. It happened to the best of us, man. But when your mom called the police and you won't leave, what that say about your manhood? You gonna stay after, you gonna live there after your mom can't get you out the house? You gonna still be there? That's what kind of energy he was on. He stayed there after. I see about a female. No, I'm in your circumstance. I put myself in your circumstance. You get mad, I'm gonna stay right here. I done it before. And then I left when I wanted to. That's different. It's a different situation. Because it's a relational situation where that woman put you in that situation, and the only reason she wants you to leave is because of an argument. It's petty as an argument. And that's how, and you know that. And ain't no way I'm leaving petty as an argument, and then I stay, and then you change back to who you was, and I know you're gonna do that. It ain't like you that mad. If you that mad, I'll leave on my own. But I know you ain't that mad. I know you doing it. You doing it because you petty. Like for example, the last time a woman tried to make me call the police on me, we living in the hood, right? We living in the hood. Me and this female. We in the hood where somebody done knocked on my door and I don't even know them. That already happened. Remind you, this already done happened. Funny, strange stuff that happens in the hood. Somebody that knocked on the door asking for somebody. Okay, so this woman that I was with is up in age. She like everything laid out for her. You know them types. So she wanted the door open when she get off of work because she worked second shift, right? So she got off around 10, or, you know what I mean? But so she want the door open when she get off of work. So I was complying with that. I'm at home, right? I'm at home. She wants the door open when she comes home, right? Okay, so I'm complying with that most of the times. But every once in a while, out of habit, I'm gonna lock a door in the ghetto. So guess what she did when she couldn't get in one night? She called the police on me. All she had to do was knock on the door. And if I ain't hear it, you still gonna call the police? So I ain't leave. No, I ain't leave. Absolutely, because you couldn't get in the door. And we in the hood. You tripping. It could be different if we was in a safe neighborhood, you know, where, okay, you could kind of leave the door slipping a little bit. I ain't leaving no door slipping, really. But, you know, maybe it's a little room for it in another neighborhood. This is a neighborhood where I used to sell crack, where I made crack transactions. I done had crack in my possession in the same neighborhood earlier in my life. This is a dangerous neighborhood, okay? A matter of fact, somebody was shooting in the front yard, and I had to call my dad to tell him to bring me a gun. That's that same house. I told my stepdad had to bring me a shotgun. I told him, yo, somebody shooting in the yard. See, I'm close enough to my family with that. I called my stepdad, yo, bring me a gun. Bring me a gun. Because somebody shooting in the front yard and everything. I was taking out the trash when it happened. So when I turned my back, you know how people go in the hood, we go to the side door, not to the front door. That's what was funny about the woman I was living with. She go through the front door, everybody go through the side door. Ain't nobody going through that front door. And you ain't gonna leave it slipping, right? So I go through the side door, you know, I ain't going through the front door. You know, once I hit the side of the house, the dude starts shooting. So I'm like, oh, okay, let me call my stepdad, give me a gun, bro. My stepdad come and back the car up, reverse the car up in the driveway, popped the trunk, gave me a shotgun in the case. All I had to do was get shells for it. Okay? That kind of situation, you know what I'm saying? That shows you what type of person I am. It's nothing fabricated, man. You know, that's where my heart is at. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna protect myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. My brother was mad about a female. That's how y'all got played. That's what it is. And now you can talk about whatever you want, all this other stuff. We don't care. I don't care about a whole other bunch of stories. I'm smart enough to realize you caused this about a woman, and that's what we stuck on. We gonna pull that out of you. Why you thought you was gonna pull something out of me? We gonna pull it out of you that this was all about a woman. That's all. And how I know for sure? How I know for sure is because a female, my cousin in my family told me that, oh, it's a rumor in the family you slept with his wife. This is the family telling me this stuff. This is the family telling me this stuff. Imagine the family coming to you telling you your brother said that you slept with his wife. Your brother now. Your brother saying you slept with his wife? And that's not what this is about. See, you want to pick other stories. Listen, I ain't talking about other stories. I'm talking about why he is out here crazy. Trying to have sex with my woman. Oh, and he didn't tell you that. He turned around and tried to have sex with one of my ex-girlfriends. Oh, you know how I know? She showed me the text and everything. She showed me the text and all that. Tremaine had to be forced out of my mom's house. Back to the story. My mom had to get, because he wouldn't willingly leave like a real man would leave out his mother's house. Like I said, for a female, I'm going to stay right there. Because I know you playing the game. And I know you're going to be good in a little bit. You're going to be good in a couple days. You know what I'm saying? I know that. Because I'm a real man. I done live with a lot of women. Which proves my sexuality. A black woman will call the police on you, and then y'all still be good about a week later. So you already know that. You already know that. It ain't like you threaten her life. She just calling to get you out the house. Cause she on the lease. You not. She gonna call to get you out the house. Just to win the argument, especially if you a stand-up man, she ain't gonna halfway respect you. Cause you ain't got your own. So when you on her terms, that part, she ain't even gonna tolerate you arguing with her like you her child or something. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. At least she gonna pull the trump card, which is you ain't on the lease. I'm gonna call the police and get you out of here. A black woman will use that against you, bro. I done been through it with more than one. I done been through it with 3 women. Them calling the police, and the police was on my side. The last time, the next to the last time that a woman called the police on me, the police was on my side. The police didn't make me leave, no. He been here X amount of time and you want to kick him out like a dog? No. Police didn't make me leave. That's what I'm saying. See, I done been through real stuff, man. That's what I'm saying, man. See, that dude right there, Tremaine, y'all brother, that's y'all brother now. That's y'all brother now, ain't it? For the black community, that's y'all brother, ain't it? Tremaine, y'all brother, ain't it? That's y'all brother, ain't it? Hey, man, look, man. Look, how you gotta get a restraining order? My mom had to get a restraining order to get him out the house. That's the worst type of trifling man it is. Your mom, I can see about a woman. She doing it to win. That's what it's about. She doing it to spite you. And I ain't letting no woman spite me like that. And I'm on your circumstance. And you put me in this situation. Where you know, I felt me and you could be together, and then we fall out, and then it's over. You know, so you know, man, look, man. Let me tell you something. I come out of my situation clean, buddy. Even with these females, all I've been through with these females, they come back and apologize to me years later for what they did. Yeah, that part. That's why, listen, if you think a man is abusive, why is the women coming back to him? Why they still calling me? Listen, I'm talking about real abuse. I'm talking about, and she take it that way, not how you take it. Well, she ain't take it that way, how we know? Because if you really abuse a woman, I'm talking about the real thing, buddy. She ain't coming back. You talking about black women. I ain't talking about no disrespect, but I ain't talking about no white women. White woman, maybe she feel controlled. Maybe she feel controlled in her mind towards her abuser or something. That kind of psychological stuff. She's controlled by her abuser. That's why she came back. She was controlled by, brainwashed by her abuser. Man, I ain't never known no black woman to be abused. She'll be running like Tina Turner on what love got to do with it. You remember she was at the hotel and her face was messed up and she ran across the highway. That's a black woman. That's what a black woman gonna do, buddy. She gonna run across the highway, buddy. She African. She got physical strength, buddy. She got athletic qualities. She gonna run across the highway. Like Angela Bassett did on Love Got to Do With It. Ran across the highway and went to another, she got out of that room and ran across the highway, bruh. You think a black woman gonna keep calling you and you abuse, you really, she felt like it. See, some black women know this, man. Okay, even though I don't agree with you putting your hands on me, I'm gonna be human and feel like I deserve that. Now you can say I'll never deserve it, but in the context of a fight, not what you deserve, in the context of a fight, I don't condone this, but I know why it happened. I know the reasons why it happened. Because my point of view is this, man. A good man can put his hands on a woman. A good man can do that. A good man can put his hands on a woman and learn and learn from that, right? And it's gonna hurt you so bad. You ain't gonna do it again. Not like you did. You ain't gonna do that again. It's gonna hurt you to your core. It's gonna hurt you to your core. And when it does, you gonna learn from it and you ain't gonna make that mistake again. A good man can put his hands on a woman. See, some people will, especially in the old school, in the black community, people will say, oh, that's a punk if he put his hands on a woman. That's how we raised in the South. Oh, you're a punk if you put your hands on a woman. How you feel about that now, these days? With these thuggish girls and these halfway thuggish women that want to be thugs. You know what I'm saying? They smoke a little weed and get a little turn up, listen to a little music on their Bluetooth. They think they you. They think they Pac. Oh, come on, man. Some of the half these women think they Pac. They gonna aspire to be Pac, like you. She thinks she got a little Pac in her, don't she? She thinks she got a little Tupac in her, don't she? That's real. No, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious, bud. Listen. If a woman my rule is this. If a woman don't want you putting her hands on you, on her, don't put your hands on a man. In other words, if you don't want no man putting his hands on you, don't challenge no man. That's the rule I tell women. Don't challenge no man if you don't want to put his hands on you. Don't challenge him. That's a real man. That's how you know he's real. It can go one of both ways. It can go one or other way, right? He could be a punk or he could be a real man. You can't challenge him. And you challenge that real man, he's gonna respond like he responds. That's why if you want a real man, you gotta know how to keep a real man. You can't put your hands on no real man. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. Not for fun. Not trying to be cute. In the middle of an argument, you trying to slap him around, punch him and everything, and get a couple punches on him to see how I feel. You know what I'm saying? You trying to see how I feel, right? You can't put your hands on no real man. He got too much dignity and self-respect. You can't do it. He'll let you get away with it. A good man will let you get away with it. But if it's you that's actually abusive, and you put your hands on him more than one time, or you do something to him more than one time, eventually that man gonna do something to you. That's just what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. He'll let you get away with it. I let women get away with it. I done let more than one woman get away with putting their hands on me. That's how you know I ain't abusive. An abusive man ain't let no woman get away with nothing. See, this is the real black man conversation. We let women get away with it. Tell the truth. A couple times. You let a woman get away with it. Until that right day when the stars align, when you pushing her away and she going a little harder than she's supposed to, you gonna check that, bruh. You're gonna check it. It's out of reflex. You're gonna check it. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, man, I believe, you know, you can have two human beings in close quarters and they fight each other, and it's not domestic violence. You got, especially black culture. We both sides grow up aggressive. Men grow up aggressive and women grow up aggressive. Think about what I'm saying now. Even as kids, we aggressive. Okay, so you got two egos. You got two black people from the black culture in close quarters. You telling me it ain't possible, especially with the young generation, for two human beings besides gender to have a physical conflict? You telling me it's not possible? Of course it's possible. Based on ego and how they was raised. Both of them was raised. That's not the domestic violence. That's two human beings having a physical conflict. That I don't define everything as domestic violence just because a man put his hands on a woman. I'm gonna ask what she was doing. Okay, what she was doing. Okay, what's the history of has she ever put her hands on you before? Yes, she have. Okay, see right here. This is a toxic situation where this man basically done been patient, but you can't kick a dog but too many times before a dog bites you. Even your dog that you love, you keep kicking the dog gonna say, hey, wait a minute. This don't supposed to happen. He gonna bite you. A pit bull, you can't even do that. A pit bull will maul you to death. If you turn on him and start hitting the pit bull, you start hitting the pit bull and just beating him out of control, he might take a smart dog will take a couple hits, just like a man. You know you did something wrong, you peed on the floor, you could have waited. Some people won't beat their dog for that. But say you tore up something abnormal, right? And you and that dog got to understand it. You know that dog did that on his own, right? That dog already got a look on his face like he know he deserved. He know he did wrong. That's why he looking at him. He'll take, now, with that being said, a dog is smart enough to take a couple hits from you. But he ain't gonna let you beat him down. No, he'll take a couple hits because he know he did wrong. He gonna take it. But if you really are abusive, that dog gonna bite you. He might maul you out the blue. Out the blue, he might maul you, pull you to the ground, and maul you to death. You gotta respect a dog, let alone a man. And that go even for the gang stalkers. You keep kicking us around. Listen, buddy, you now you're getting mauled to death, and you don't know what to do. 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 That's all I'm saying. Yo, you playing with me, bro? Listen, I'm mauling you. I'm mauling you. I'm mauling you. I'm mauling you. That's right. Shouldn't have played with me. You can't even play with a dog like that. You can't keep kicking the dog over and over again. Dog gonna bite you. If a dog will do that, what a human being gonna do? You keep playing with a human being, he gonna bite you. That dog ain't gonna never have no love for you again the right way either. Once he know you mistreated him, he hates you. He gonna growl when he see you and everything. I got a higher psychology of a dog. I can forgive, but in this case, why should I? You know, people that play with me over and over, they consistently playing with me. They owe me a bag. That's the difference between a dog and a man. I'm gonna ask for a bag. A dog ain't gonna ask for no bag or bones. Oh, give me some more bones and I'll be done with this. You know, I'm asking for a bag. And you don't got that? Listen. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Hey man, listen. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. It's all good. All goofiness and everything earlier, you know, back in 2017, 2018, everything. Everybody thought this was a game. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. That's all this is karma at best. This is classic karma. This is classic karma. That's all it is. That's all that's going on here. There ain't nothing strange going on. It's classic karma. You know? And you know, I don't feel bad about this. All this stuff happening to these people. No, I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about it at all. You can look me in my face, man, and tell, ain't no way in the world you gonna see me out of character playing around children or thinking about children. A man like me, a stand-up guy like me, can you imagine me lowering my brain to think about a child sexually? You know, I mean, you can tell I'm too much of a stand-up guy because I was raised by masculine men. And when you a kid, you don't like it. But when you get older, you learn to appreciate being raised by masculine men because you got a masculinity that some of your peers don't have. I love it. I love it. I love my masculinity because I'm gonna stand up and say what I need to say like a man. And you ain't gonna sit up and bury me. You ain't gonna bury my reputation. You ain't gonna bury me as a person. I'm gonna still be out there when I need to be. I'm gonna have the courage to be out there and do whatever I gotta do. And that's part of my masculinity. I'm gonna be right there. I'm gonna be right there. Whenever I need to be, I'm gonna be right out there for you. Even though my dad left the house when I was 5 years old, he still stayed in my life. You know what I'm saying? And I had a stepdad that was just as, I'm not comparing, but he was just as masculine as my dad. My mom dated only date masculine men. Go-getters, tough men, brawny. That's another word, brawny men. You know, my family's older now. My dads are older now. So, I mean, you can't look at a manhood when he started getting in his 50s and 60s. But I'm saying, you know, when they would, I mean, you know, you've been corny doing that. But, you know, from a man aspect, you know. But when you know, my dad and my stepdad, brawny, masculine men that worked, kept a job. I ain't never seen my dad unemployed. I ain't never seen my stepdad unemployed. They both worked all the time. I ain't never heard my dad talking about he looking for work. Never in my life. I've never seen my stepdad talking about he looking for work. Never, ever in my life. Never. Always working, always kept a car, always had money, always took care of their kids. My dad always took care of us. You know what I'm saying? He always took care of me. He always took care of his kids. You know, even though he ain't do the child support, we was coming over to his mother's house. That was the child support. And I understand it from a man's perspective. That is the child support. I'm bringing you over to my mother's house. That's an extension of me. That's an extension of me. These children only going over there because of me. She's an extension of me in this case. And she's spending money on them. Mind you, my dad was getting our haircuts, getting my haircuts, doing that. He was paying for that. Other little things, other little festivities things, he made sure we did stuff and went out and did stuff. You know, he was a man. You know, so my stepdad, same thing. Christmas came, bought stuff, made sure we had food in the house. We lacked nothing. We lacked nothing. Not because we had it, because he worked hard. So you got people in the hood that work hard. It ain't that they got it, they just work hard. They alpha males. They go out and they get paid for working. You know what I'm saying? And that don't mean they rich. See, a stupid person look at certain situations with black people and think, oh, they got it good. That's a good family. No, that's a working family. That's a working family. And we always have been. You know what I'm saying? My family, I can show you with my mother, you know, even in the hood, they always had jobs. And they partied. But they worked. They didn't fall off because they was partying. You know, and some people fall off when they party. So I seen good examples of adulthood from my parents. That's why I'm able to channel, even in these situations, I'm still able to channel manhood and adulthood even without a job. And that's what people don't know about me. It's not even that they got it. My family had it. It's work. It's hard work. It's a classic case of hard work. So you could get it twisted and think somebody just been handed that, or that means they come from a certain type of black family. and you sleep on a ghetto family that worked hard. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. You get up and you get your money. And see, just like now, that's more the emphasis now. But so apply that to back in the day where people was, getting their money. Right. Everybody wasn't partying and being trifling. My parents was getting their money. That's all. Still around the hood areas, still going through things, still partying, getting their money. That's what real black people gonna do. We gonna party and get money. So if you stupid, you gonna look at the money and think, oh, this is a soft family. Why? Cause it's money? Why? Cause it's a better condition than you living in. That's 7 hours. Cause it's a better condition that you living in. Maybe they got there cause they worked hard. Both of my parents, my stepdad, his family was in the hood. My mom's family was in West Charlotte, West Boulevard. At one point, we had to go live over there. When my mom was in between situations, I barely remember it, but we used to have to sleep on the couch in West Boulevard, but it was always fun because our family was over there, so I didn't even look at it like I didn't understand what was going on, like I didn't know what was going on. It was fun just to be over there. Because every time I went over there on West Boulevard, it was all about fun, family. That's how I see West Boulevard, just fun and family. I never thought about the streets really, or the danger, or anything like that. And we was going to the West Boulevard in the 80s. I was in the West Boulevard in the 80s as a kid. Yeah, they talk about West Boulevard now because everybody know Charlotte's on the map. And of course, you're going to talk about the hardest parts. And, we was over there. I was over there as a kid in the 80s, in West Boulevard. Both sides of my family. It's one thing to be one side, but both of my sides of my family. You got people that live in the same hood, of course, I guess, but yeah, both sides of my family stayed in West Charlotte and on West Boulevard. So in Charlotte, but that was the situation with Tremaine. That boy, he crashed out because of a female. That's how you need to hear it. I don't crash out for no female. Yeah, he tried to have sex with one of my women. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now you put it together. Don't that sound like the motives of a man trying to get even because he think you had sex with his woman? Now you're trying to have sex with yours. That makes perfect sense to me. You trying to have sex with his woman because you think somebody see all this stuff he was doing is going in that area. So how you gonna say it's not that? That's what I'm saying. So that's what you're gonna penalize the person on for being a sucker out here for these women. You try to have sex with your brother's wife, your brother's ex-girlfriend, somebody that you met, and this wasn't no jump off. This was a friend of the family. My mom know this woman. She done cooked dishes of food when we had a death in the family. That's how close she was to the family. When we had a death in the family, my girlfriend, I had good girlfriends. My girlfriend cooked the dish and took it to my mom for as an act of condolences. As an act of condolence. Right? That's who he tried to have sex with. That's who my brother tried to have sex with. Somebody that my mom knew and everything. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And so you telling me that's not what this is about? And this other side, there's other things going on. All this stuff going on. How we know that happened? Because I went over to my girlfriend's house. She showed me the text and everything with his number on it and everything. Couldn't deny it. Can't deny it. Can't deny it. Got the receipts, showed me the receipts and everything before the word even came out. Before the term even came out, she showed me receipts and everything. Now that's how it's done. My women are so loyal to me. You a lame, you a sucker, try to have sex with them, they ain't even gonna do it. They gonna listen, you little sucker, listen, you gonna try to do it and they ain't even gonna do it. They gonna come back and tell me. They gonna come tell on you. That's what she did. That's how loyal she was to me. She came and told me everything. She could have got revenge. She could have did it and got some type of revenge. I'm not saying she was bitter with me, but she could have done it. She was loyal to me. See, that's how you know your women really love you. You ain't never had no woman really love you, little buddy. Listen, that's the truth. Why she jocking other dudes? You don't want to accept it. You're gonna make all the excuses. You're gonna make her a bad person. But the truth is you just wasn't her cup of tea, buddy. Well, I mean, you can demonize her, but she'll do good with somebody else. I bet she's doing good with somebody else. Uh-huh. Oh, I'm pretty sure she got about two other kids by now, don't she? She got about 3 kids now, I bet. Oh, I just know how time goes. How time flies by, sucker. She probably got about 2 or 3 kids, other than the kid that you had with her. And guess what? How she was and how she was built. Listen, somebody else gonna take your woman and make her something else. You know how he gonna do it? He gonna let her be free. He gonna let her be free. Cause she had that little young look, right? Right. Okay. As she got older, she probably still had that little young look. Another man gonna come and get that and make her a better woman than you ever could make her. You know how? Cause he ain't gonna be jealous. My brother's a jealous man. See, I learned not to be jealous from my family. Okay? I ain't never been jealous over my women, but I know how to make my women move where I don't put them in the vicinity of my family. Listen, let me tell you something. If you in the average ratchet black family, don't bring your woman around your family. That ain't no. You don't need to bring them around them dudes. Around your mama, that's one thing. You can have a little affair with your mom. Y'all hang out, go to the picnic or something like that. But you don't bring your woman around your cousins unless it's your best cousins who you really trust, right? You know the ones, but you don't bring your woman around all your family. You do not. You don't do it. And if you stupid enough, see, this is why I ain't have no problems. Because see, people might think I'm cruel or I'm controlling. The only rule I got is I don't bring my women around my family. Nope, because I know how men are. Low key, they thinking stuff that's going on that's not going on. That's how a lot of black people are. Low key, they think they woman wants you and everything. That's why they think, that's why they think you want their woman and your woman want them. Or your woman want me. That's why you thinking it, because you think that way. You think that way yourself. Like you competing. Hey, you know the type of family. You bring your woman around them. If y'all drink, they gonna start dancing like they competing with you. You know the type of energy I'm talking about? Y'all was just chilling and everything. Then all of a sudden, this person getting up, dancing in front of your girl and all bouncing. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Bouncing around. Y'all don't be smoking weed. You all in your head about it. Yeah, bouncing all around in front of your girl and all of that. Doing a little mating dance. That's a little mating dance. That's a little mating dance, ain't it? Hey, you can't even chill with them homies from your family, with your girl, because they don't have the discipline. It could be a good cousin, but they don't got the discipline to think right. You can catch them looking at your woman butt, looking at your woman between your woman legs. Man, I cannot make this up, man. I took one of my females. This is what started it for me. This is what started it. If you don't know, man, I took my female to the house. This is why you know I ain't jealous. For Thanksgiving, the holidays. I've been that type of dude. If you think I'm trifling, I done brought women to, for the holidays. I done brought a woman home for the holidays like a real man do. So I brought my female. She's from the South Bronx. Oh yeah, the South Bronx, right? My female was from the South Bronx. A black woman from the South Bronx. Yeah, that part. Making love and having fun, drinking and smoking and all of that. I'm living with her. She got her own place. You know what I mean? She from the South Bronx. Old school South Bronx. Right? This is like 2009. You know what I mean? This is 2009, Thanksgiving 2009. You feel me? So this is like 2009 Thanksgiving. So I take my female over to the house. You know, she a real stand-up woman, so she the one taught me into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm come on, she's older than me, and she's from the South Bronx. Mind you, I haven't lived in New York at this time. This is not, I hadn't even went to New York. I hadn't even come here. I already lived with somebody from the South Bronx. Some people say that's why you tough. That's why you got that might have added to me. Her influence might have added to me. Cause she from the South Bronx, everything like that. And she's old school. So she was like in her 40s when I met her. Which is a good age these days. Dudes don't know, you know. And I was like 29. And I met her on the bus on my way to work. So she seen me working and everything. That's the whole thing attracted her. I was in my uniform. I used to have to wear a uniform and everything. So I was on my way to work. This is how I met the woman from the South Bronx, right? So Michael Jackson had just died. Now this is true though. So Michael Jackson had just died. That was, mind you, this is 2009. So Michael died, right? So I put the Thriller. You remember the ringtones? Everybody had the ringtones. So I ain't no lame. I had phones back then with the ringtones, everything. I did all of that. So I had the Michael Jackson Thriller ringtone. Thriller, Thriller. So every time my phone rang, Thriller, Thriller. So I had that on my phone because Michael Jackson just died. You feel me? See, these kind of stories you're supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? I'm working, I'm making money, I'm paying my own bills, you know what I'm saying? I'm on my way to work. You know, I'm smelling good, looking good, doing good. Thriller, Thriller night. Okay, so I'm on the bus, in the back of the bus, you know where the real ones be. You know, we're gonna do that on the city bus, we're gonna get to the back, you know what I'm saying? You know, and so I'm decently in the back. You know, you got a job, you don't get all the way in the back, you know what I mean? You ain't get bougie, but you trying to stay out of the problem. Your head somewhere else, you just hop on there. You get to the back, you kind of hop on. You don't go all the way to the back, you just hop on. You still keep it 100, but you kind of hop on the back a little bit. You still back there a little bit. You working, but you still back there a little bit. So that's how I seen her. You know, she heard my ringtone. She was like, oh, I like that. This one from the South Bronx. She was like, yeah, you know, I like that Michael Jackson ringtone or whatever, right? So I'm like, yeah, that's what's up. I'm like at this point, I work at the hospital, so you know, I talk to females all the time, so I'm quick on my game. You know, I'm quick to shoot my shot. You feel me? So like, she was like, yeah, you know, I like that ringtone. I took full advantage of that. I was like, yeah, you know, you can give me your number, man. We can kind of hang out. So that's kind of how it happened. So I went straight to her house. Can't make, like I said, Michael had just died. So when I came over after work, like in September, it was like September of 2009, I came over like in a tank top and the khakis, you know what I'm saying? I might have looked like kind of West Coast, had my hair permed, you know what I'm saying? Tank top and khakis. I was looking good. You know, so I went over there, you know what I'm saying? Mind you, I'm in shape because I'm working. You know what I'm saying? I'm in shape. I'm looking good. I'm a working man, everything. I got that vibe on me, that working vibe on me and everything. So, you know, I come over there and everything. And first time I went to her house, it was like a funeral for Michael Jackson. I'm serious. This is not, it's kind of funny. It's funny. Like, I went over her house. She got this big stereo system at the time. Huge speakers. Like, I think like, it might have been 20-inch speakers. The ideal studio, the ideal system, what we call systems in the South, the ideal system for any music lover, man. And she just had these booming speakers, just like a woman from New York. Remind you, I haven't lived in New York. I only lived on the West Coast at this time. So I only lived in California. And now this is my first, this is like my first New York girl. I never had a New York girl. This is the first time. You know what I'm saying? She got her own spot. She cook. We eat food. We eat 2 different types of meat at one time. I mean, she cooking like that. I'm eating 2 types of meat. Not one. Some people gonna say one for the other. You think you're wasting. Man, we was eating 2 types of meat at one point. You know what I'm saying? She was a typical good street woman, kept her dogs. Used to call her the dog lady because she kept dogs, right? Boom. So she kept dogs and everything. She had a good heart. You know what I mean? And because anytime people got dogs or love dogs, you know, they got good hearts, right? So boom. You know, she was cool, you know? And we used to, like back at that time, I was smoking weed, so we used to sit and smoke, listen to old school R&B. Remind you, this woman from the Bronx. She got all the flavor, you know, she used to sell in the clubs, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So she was just real cool, everything like that. And just cool as they come from the South Bronx. So like me and her went to, like for Thanksgiving, we went over to my mom's house. You know, that's how cool it was. You know, and that showed you what kind of man I am. I took her home to my mom's. You know what I'm saying? So how I'm a peewee and I'm taking my woman to my mom's house for Thanksgiving. Come on, bro. That's after me and her chilling and everything. And got on the level, smoking weed, drinking together, chilling together. You know what I mean? Doing it how it's done. You know how it is. You know. So we done got settled in, and you know we going to my mom's house for the holiday. You know how we are. Come on. You know how we are as black people. You know that's how it was. We went on my mom's house. So my stepdad's little brother, a couple years younger than me, but he's supposed to be my uncle because my stepdad is his brother, which make him technically kind of like my uncle. But it was never that kind of vibe. It was never that vibe at all. I was always older, you know, I was doing some things, I was doing kind of, you know, a little more before he was. You know what I'm saying? I think I was a little more advanced in my mentality, I think. It's like, I started smoking weed before he kind of did. But he lived around it. He lived in the heavy weed smoking environment, you know? But he was just kind of a good kid, you know. He played video games and everything. So, but you know, this is like when we in our 20s, you know, me and him. I'm like 29 years old, so that means he probably was like 26 or 27. So my girl comes over, and she a New York woman, so she sit with her legs open. You know that, hey, a Southern man. If you ain't listen, this the first time you know you dating a New York woman. She sit with her legs gapped open. And you thinking, man, your legs all gapped. You thinking that because you're a Southern man. A New York woman sit with her legs open. So I a couple times I done said something about that. You know what I'm saying? Being a man, because you used to women not sitting with their legs gapped open where a dude could look in it. Now see, this is why we like this. I'm gonna tell you why we like this. It's not being protective. It's not being how I put this. It's not being jealous. You know what I mean? Possessive. It's because other men gonna come and look. Sure enough, me and my woman over for Thanksgiving. Don't you know my stepbrother, my stepfather's brother, which is around my age, was sitting on the edge of the couch in front of us, looking right between my woman's legs. Looking right between her legs. I seen his eyes connect with her crotch. I'm a smart man. I'm sitting here. I'm looking at where my woman is right here. I'm looking at where your eyes is coming at. It's right, you looking right at my woman's crotch and vagina. And he's sitting there looking at it, bro. Yo, like I'm retarded. He's sitting there just looking between my woman's legs, bro. So how I responded was, you know what? I just kept it, you know, I told her, you know how you go home, you have them talks with your woman. Yeah, man, he looking right between your legs. I seen him. Looking, but she probably like, oh, come on, don't worry about that. I'm with you. You know how a black woman gonna tell you, I'm coming home to you. That's what a black woman gonna tell you. A good black woman, old school, gonna tell you, ain't I'm coming home to you. I'm coming home to you at the end of the day. But we still be feeling some type of way. We still gonna feel some type of way. So from that point, man, that's what triggered me to don't bring my woman around the family, and that's what did it. And I was right. Because not only did my stepdad's little brother do it, my brother tried to have sex with one of my women. And see, another thing is, I just got a history of people having sex. Because, I got that look. I get women. So, you know what I went through in a black family in the South? Everybody people either having sex with my women, my ex-women, or trying to. I went through it. My first girlfriend, worst situation, man. This is my first girlfriend. This girl was so beautiful. It was the type of caliber of woman I should have had. She was bad, man. She was already voluptuous, and she was a kid. Me and her were kids. She was already voluptuous, nice, smart, writing me letters, and she was writing me letters and everything, bro. And sending the letters with perfume. She was doing all of that. She was a girl, and she was already putting scent on the perfume on the letters, and that getting your psyche. That's your psyche right there, bro. That's why they do it. She put fragrance on the letter, man. I'll never forget that smell. You know what I'm saying? Like this, that it goes with the letter. She's saying all this good stuff. She was that type of girl. Don't you know my older cousin had sex with my girlfriend? Oh, hold up. This was gonna get black people. That same little girl that I first got, the first girlfriend I had. It's heartbreaking, bro. This is your first girlfriend. I don't even like to talk about it that much. This was my first girlfriend. Don't you know my cousin had sex with her? Behind my back. Oh, it get worse. After the family reunion. That's messed up. The night of the family reunion, when everybody go home, everybody went home. Because I met her through my cousin, that same cousin, his sister. His sister hooked me up with her, right? So they were friends. So that's why she went back to her house and spent the night with her friend, with my cousin, because that was her friend. Meanwhile, my cousin, he there in the house with her. She ain't come home with me because I'm too young. I'm just a little kid. My cousin is kind of in the teenage years where he listened to hip hop and all of this, bouncing around, He a little older. Right. He had sex with my first girlfriend. You know how I found out? My other cousin told me. He was loyal to me. Yeah, man, he had sex with your girlfriend, Groany, man. And she had a sexual name and everything, Groany. Like you grown. Her name was Groany. Groany, man. Groany Stinson, man. She was a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful girl, boy. She was the type of girl you date all your life and you have kids by. That's how bad she was, man. I'm dead serious. That's how bad she was. She was so bad, you would date her, you would call her your high school sweetheart and all that stuff, and you would have kids by this girl. That's how good looking she was. She was real good looking. That's why he did it. She was real good looking. She was extremely good looking. And don't you know, I seen her one time after I got older, but I saved face because I just walked right past her. Cause she was over there on West Boulevard, but I was over there on foot on another part of West Boulevard, and that's how I know for sure it was her, because it was West Boulevard, but she was living somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And it was this certain neighborhood when you first come into the Ponderosa from Wilkinson, from the bridge, when you make that right, and then you make the first right, not Rainbow Court. It used to be Rainbow Court, not on the left side. On the right side, that first right, and you go down that slope. She was on the houses on the right side on that little slope, going back towards Wilkinson. You would be walking back towards Wilkinson. So you go down, you know how you come to Wilkinson, you go to the Ponderosa to make that first turn on to Rainbow Court, right? So you make that first right, then you make another right, and you in this on this street. That little slope right there, she was on that street. I walked down through there one day and she was on the front porch. She couldn't even say nothing to me. I know she knew it was me. But I don't know if she, like, because it was West Boulevard, she might have wasn't sure. Because I might have had a hat on my head or something like that, you know. But I knew it was her. I knew it was her. Man, she was a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful girl. See, sometimes you got dysfunction because of your family. Where you were supposed to be way more healthy, but your family messed it up. Because once she did that, she asked about me again. She said, "Where my boyfriend at?" That's what she heard. That's what she said. But she knew she was a hoe. She messed up. Because I blame her too. He ain't force her. She, even as a kid, she could have understand loyalty. You know, that it wasn't hard. My cousin was he talked her into it. But she should have been a female about it, and she should have shut it down. That's all she had to be. I don't know if he forced himself on her. I don't know how he did it, but he might have, you know, back in the day, you could kind of throw yourself onto a woman and kind of keep it going. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. He might have did that. He might have did that, but all I know is it came back to me. So that was so from a kid, this is why I'm like this. I had already experienced my first girlfriend, my cousin having sex with my first girlfriend. My first, man. And I ain't even, hold up, here's the punchline. I didn't even get to have sex with her. Remind you, I'm a kid. I'm like 11, 10. I'm between 9 and 10. I don't know why I always want to say a 12, but I was nowhere. I don't know why I always picture myself 12 when I was with her. I was way younger. I was between 9 and 10 years old. She was the same age. That's what makes it so bad for my cousin. She was like either 9, 10, or 11. He was like 13, 14. She was younger than him. And that was my cousin Bernie Cow Stratford. He had sex with my girlfriend, man, my first girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I think from there, me and him used to be like brothers, but that broke the bond. That fresh, organic bond we had growing up, that's what broke it. And I always thought about, like, why me and him don't get along? Why he don't come over? Because he did me wrong. And you know, you can't face somebody when you do something like that. Even if it's young, it's still principle. You still gonna take it personal. That's still you, even though it was a young you still gonna look at it like it's you, right? You feel me? So, you know, he couldn't face me after that. So that's how I surpassed anybody that was supposed to be my OG. That's how I surpassed him. That was almost like my OG. And then he had sex with my girl. You see what I'm saying? He was an older cousin. He taught me how to dress, the clothes, how to carry myself, my swag, drip, everything. My cousin Bernie Cow, he taught me how to do, like, my music, everything, my drip, everything. I learned everything from this dude. Put some lotion on your legs. You know what I'm saying? When you're a kid, you don't know. Get them legs right. Don't get ashy. Put some lotion on them legs. You know, he was that type of dude. Teach me all this little stuff. You know what I'm saying? How to carry myself. Everything like that. And then he did that and then just threw everything off. We never really hung out after that. You know what I'm saying? I never respected him like I once did. I suppressed that. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know whether to love him or hate him. You know that kind of situation. You know, so I just kind of suppressed that, you know, let it go. You know, that's family. I kind of just let it go. You know what I mean? We still had meaningful conversations after that. I had a meaningful conversation with him probably like around 2010. You know, that's the last time we kind of talked. But, you know, once that kind of happened like that, you know, you had sex with my girl, you know, like the whole thing, man. He probably turned her out. Everything. You know, that's what a man gonna think about, all the stuff he did. We think about the whole acts. What happened? How much happened? That's how a man gonna think with all the stuff that happened. So when I was a kid, the prophet I had a beautiful choice type of girl. Choice. I'm telling you about everybody's standard, boy. She was already voluptuous. That's why somebody had sex with her. And I'll be honest with you, her being from West Boulevard, that's what made it even more beautiful for Charlotte, the Charlotte story. She was my first girlfriend was from West Boulevard, man. Beautiful, man. Like a dime for sure. Definitely a dime. By everybody's standard. And she wasn't because she was light skinned, but it wasn't because of that. The girl had nice features and voluptuous everything. And I was still innocent, you know what I'm saying? I was still a virgin. That's why I wasn't really making no moves on her and everything. But I understood the concept of a girlfriend, but I was still a virgin. So imagine somebody cheating on you. Your cousin having sex with your girlfriend while you was a virgin. You was supposed to have that. You know what I mean? She writing you letters, everything. That's why me and Bernie Carr never was good anymore. And he knew he did wrong. So I come from one of them old funky Southern families that like, like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I got older, I separated my woman from the family. That's why I did it. I always did that. Then my other cousin, my cousin Corky, Stefan Kearns, he had sex with one of my girls. But I left her though. I left her. You know what I'm saying? I had broke up with her. We wasn't together. You know what I'm saying? She was too shy for me. I didn't like her. I didn't like her. I didn't like how she was. So my brother, here's back to my brother. He know these stories. My brother found out my cousin had sex with her. So my brother went and got retaliation for me by having sex with one of my cousin's girlfriends. Okay, listen, my brother was defending me like that. And you telling me he had problems with me growing up and everything like that. My brother went back and had sex with one of my cousin's girlfriends because he had sex with one of my girlfriends. Tawana was the girl. She got a sister. They was from Creektown in Charlotte. They was from over there in Creektown. You know what I'm saying? And so my cousin Corky, Stefan Kearns, he had sex with one of my girls. That's why me and him wasn't close no more. We was like, me and him, you see the pattern, right? That's two already. That's two already. That's why I don't bring my women around my family. Because how I look and everything, I get good women. I get clean, wholesome, more than anything. I get good women working and clean and everything. You know what I'm talking about? Black man gonna talk about clean, good, clean woman. working, clean, working. That's what we gonna talk about. Clean and working, that's what we talking about. So man, my cousin had sex with Tawana, but I left her. I dumped her because she was just too shy for me. She was too quiet. I'm flamboyant. I like to talk. She was just kind of quiet, and I ain't like that vibe. You know what I'm saying? If that's not who you are, I ain't gonna try to change you. You know what I'm saying? And she just was a quiet girl, and and me and her, to be honest with you, me and her sister was doing more talking. I knew her sister kind of from school. We was in school together, and her sister was more in my face than her. Like, that's who I should have been with, the older sister. But me and her was about the same age. Me and Tawana was about the same age. But her sister was like, oh yeah, I think she might have hooked me up with her sister. I don't really remember how it happened, bro. I'm telling you, I used to get females. Sometimes I don't even remember how it happened. But Tawana was her sister was more my speed because of her vibe and how she would talk and smile and be talk. I can remember her in my mind more vividly than the girl I was even with. Tawana was more quiet. Her sister was more like outgoing, talking and everything. That's what kind of girls I like. But they ain't gonna be in everybody's face, but they can talk like a black girl, talking, show some expression and everything, I like that, but Tawana didn't show no expression or nothing like that. I ain't like her. I didn't like her. So, I ain't even have sex with her. I dumped her, and my cousin, she was slipping over there. He had sex with her when she was slipping over there somewhere, over my cousin's house, because she was with my cousins, my girl cousins. My girl cousins be hooking me up. I'm telling you, I done had plenty of females from my girl cousin hooking me up, right? So they wind up still hanging around, and my cousins, because of that, will have sex with my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriends. So my brother found out about it, and he felt some type of way on his own. I didn't even care, because I was like, well, I dumped her. My brother was like, nah, man. He was like, he feeling some type of way about it. Cause me and that cousin was like Redman and Method Man. That's how close we was. You see you know the vibe between Method Man and Redman? Me and him had that same vibe. Like I was Meth and he was Redman. Tripping, laughing, smoking weed together. That's how we was. We was like Method Man and Redman. That's how me and him was. I mean, down to the T, bruh. Matter of fact, when I seen the energy between Redman and Method Man, I thought about me and my cousin. We was the same way. The music, smoking weed, everything, bro. And he was on West Boulevard, and so it was like, he had that street cred, everything. So he was that type of cousin, and we just had mad love for each other, like the type of cousin that come pull on your hair. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Look at your jewelry, pull your jewelry, like you see in the hip hop videos where somebody walk up to you and touch your jewelry. He was that type of cousin. You know what I'm saying? Walk up to you, touch your jewelry and everything, hold your jewelry in his hand. He was that type of cousin. I think at the time he did that when I had cause that's how, you know how things happen and you place it with other people in your family. So I think that's what happened, man, like with him. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line though, you know, he just like, I remember one time he used to just look at my hair, touch my braids. You know what I'm saying? We was cousins like that. That definitely happened. So, you know, we was that close. Then he had sex with my girl. So that's why my brother got retaliation. My brother got retaliation on him. The same one talking. Now this show you how close me and my brother was. He went and got revenge by having sex with one of my cousin's girls. He told me, yeah, I got revenge. I went and had sex with one of his. He got revenge for me. You know what I'm saying? But then the funny thing, the irony is, years later, he wound up doing the same thing, trying to have sex with one of my women. Because I get good, clean women. Always have. So that's 3 times in my life where the family, 4 times, actually, where family showed interest in my women. You know what I'm saying? Now imagine me being a weirdo and I got all the women, 4 women I can show you. 4 women that my family was interested in. That's 4 of them. Remind you, my brother, let me tell you this story. This last one, right? So it was just one girl we grew up with. She was from West Boulevard, right? But she was such a tomboy, I didn't take her seriously as a girl that I would find interesting because she was just such a tomboy running around and everything like that. Hair all over her head, you know. So I you know, she just was among us. You know, we used to fight with her family, everything. It was an ongoing feud with her family, things like that. And you know, ghetto families with kids against other family houses, that kind of thing. So, but as we grew up, man, we put away the little childish things, and we just, cause my cousin was cool with one of her big sisters. So, you know, off the strength of that, you know, we was kind of cool with that family off the strength of that relationship. They was directly next door in front of their house of my cousin. So we always went and played with them and played basketball sometimes over there at their house. So as we got older, you know, like in my teenage years, me and her got into a little relationship at one time. You know, she started sitting on my lap, kissing her and everything. You know what I'm saying? And we both was teenagers and everything like that. So, right, man, I can't make this up. My brother, she calls my house one day, randomly. Mind you, we already kind of got something going on. You feel me? Like, so my brother pick up the phone. He tells this same girl that I was sitting on her, she was sitting on my lap, I'm kissing her and everything, tonguing her real good. We kissed real deep. That's the one thing I do remember. Yeah, we kissed real good and deep. Yeah, we kissed real good and deep. I remember that. Yeah, and she's sitting on my lap and everything. Like we was together like that. You know, so, you know, in front of the family. I mean, we was both teenagers, you know, we wasn't hiding it, you know. This is at my aunt's house and there, you know, ghetto families. Like, this is my little girlfriend and she's sitting on my lap and everything, you know. So my brother seen that, he seen that part. Guess what? She gonna call over to the house, right? When I get back home, this some other day, might have been another week or whatever. he gonna tell the same female. Her name was Felicia, right? He gonna tell Felicia, oh, he don't want you. Don't that sound like a girl? He don't want you. Why would you tell her that? And so then after he told her that, she never kind of called me again, and then she became a beautiful woman. I seen her again like years later on her birthday, and I'm glad I seen her on her birthday. She was going to get a cake. I can't make this up. She was at the grocery store getting a cake. She was at the grocery store getting a cake and everything, and I bumped into her, on her birthday, and it was a pleasant. I think I straightened my face on what my brother said too, and I think I might have said something about that. That's just my personality, because I didn't say nothing to the effect that I didn't want her, and she became a beautiful young woman, man, filled out just right. You know what I'm saying? And man, he gonna tell her I didn't want to. I don't want her. Why would I show any interest in her if why you gonna tell her that? Once he put that in her head, that was it. That was it. Because a girl gonna think, well, why would he even say that? That's how bizarre it was. Like, why would he say this to me if it wasn't true? Think about it. That's what she gonna tell other females. Well, the brother must have said something to him. Donnell must have said something to him for him to feel. Why he gonna just say that? From that point, man, that I don't even know what happened after that. I don't remember. All I know is he gonna tell me he told her that. See, it was those little things that separated me and my brother. It was those type of things, bruh. Stuff that he ain't got no business doing. What's up with that? That's a girlfriend. Some people will never forgive you for one girl. One girl, that's all it takes. I could have gave up on him with that. Man, that was a good, healthy girl. Like, grew up just right, man. Just right, bro. Kind of tomboyish, kind of not, but not too fast in the streets. Just right, man. Just right. Messed it all up, man. You know what I'm saying? So, man, this is the stuff I went through, man, in the streets, man, with my family. That's why that's 4 solid women, man. That's 4 solid women. I ain't even trying to think no deeper, but I'm gonna stop right there. That's 4 women. That's why I keep my family away from my women. That's why I'm like this. You know what I'm saying? And I advise you to do the same thing, buddy. Man, cause man, you know your cousins and all of that, and your even your brother. I even went through my brother trying to have sex. That was the last one, trying to have sex with my woman. And then you got some cousins that some people try to throw shade. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, they'll throw shade about another. To another. Some dudes are so much of a sucker. They'll down you with another female if she talking bad about you. So my cousin Antoine, right? So me and him riding around together. That's how good of cousins we was. I got my girlfriend car. He paid her to let me get the car. He paid her like $70. That kind of cousin. Cool cousin. So we like homies like that. So he paid my girl some money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think she took the money. And I just told her to keep it for later, something like that. I think I said something like that. But like, we got the car. So I actually got the car. We went and got weed. You know how it is when your cousins got money. When we got money, he got money, we got money. Them kind of cousins. So I'm riding around, you know what I'm saying? We fronting, smoking. So I had that one cousin that I ride around with, you know what I'm saying? And I was driving, you know what I'm saying? I was riding around driving. I had my moments. See, my moments that me and my brother didn't have. We ain't have them good little moments all in Charlotte riding around. So it's me and my cousin did. We had that little moment where we, got the car, it's a good day, riding around, smoking together and everything, chilling. So that day, it's like a movie, man. This is so you can see what type of person I am, man. So we went to Walmart for the cheap wine. You know what I'm saying? I know about that cheap. Y'all everybody know about that cheap wine, that $3 wine, $4 wine at Walmart. So I went and got me a couple bottles of that. So, I drank that and smoked weed. Me and my cousin drank some wine and smoked some weed. So I got the wine. We got the weed. You know what I'm saying? I go get the wine from Walmart, and so I think I'm like looking in the music area. I think that's what I met her. So I'm just looking and whatever, and I got the bottles of wine in my hand, but I'm like looking at this music because I might get some music too or something. So I got a little bread, obviously. I don't remember where it came from, but so like a female came up, right? And she was like, her name was Sheila. Sheila, right? So Sheila was like, she worked at Walmart. So she sparked up the conversation. I took full advantage of it. She was like, yeah, that's what I need right there. Talking about the wine. Now this is a woman. She telling me that this is the South though. That's how it is in the South. So she telling me, yeah, that's what I need. I need some of that. Like she needs some of this wine. Oh boy, I had a smile on my face. I already knew what time it was. I say, shoot, me and you can get together. We can do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight to the point about it. I was like, me and you can get together, man. I say, that's what you do. Hey, me and you can, we can do it together. You know what I'm saying? Like me and you can, why not? I'm gonna have a little joke in there, a little halfway joke in there. So she was like, she gave me her number, right? She gave me her number, whatever. And so, this is a crazy story, bro. This is crazy. This is a crazy story. So, that was the end of that. My brother, okay. So my cousin, once my cousin came and found me, him, and her was talking. I already had hooked up with her, had it solid. I had a number, everything, right? So she seen my cousin and said, oh, my daughter can talk to you. The daughter was 19. Young, 19. You would think jackpot, right? 19. Oh, it don't stop. It don't stop. This is how it is in the black community, man. This woman introduced my cousin to her 19-year-old daughter, right? Okay. So somehow they exchanged some type of number where I think he got her daughter's number. She had the number for her daughter, right? So he got the daughter's number like that. She hooked up with me and she hooking my cousin up. And sure enough, they kind of hooked up, right? Like that. We met them at Walmart just hanging out. Now that's a perfect day when you went with your cousin and y'all actually hook up with somebody. So it was like, yeah, it was good. So that day was good. Nothing went wrong. So I'm back with my girl. Remind you, I got a girlfriend, but I'm hollering at this female. Yeah, you forgot that part. I got the card, right? But I'm hollering at this girl at Walmart, right? So, but this show you what kind of relationships I have with females. So I'm back with my girl on the east side in Charlotte. I'm over there on the east side now, and that was probably one of the best independent times of my life when I was over there on the east side because I was driving and everything like that. You know what I mean? I was just living single, living with these women and everything. And so, living single but living with women. But, so I settled back in beyond that day with my female. You know what I'm saying? And so out the blue, mind you, I gave Sheila my number that worked at Walmart. Out the blue, one of her friends called me, Pam. I think her name was Pam. She was drunk. Mind you, I don't know this woman Pam. I don't know nothing about Sheila's life. I don't know Sheila's life at all. This random woman called me late at night, like around, I don't know, between 11 and 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's random. So my woman, it's my woman's phone. She calling. So my woman answered. She called. My woman answered the phone. She give me the phone. This woman is drunk. I don't know her. I do not know. I'm telling you, this has happened for real. I don't know this woman. She said, yeah, she said, I'm on the phone with her. Yeah, I don't know why you like Sheila. You know, she ugly. You ought to see me. She done defecated on her own friend, everything, yo. So I'm like, word. She was like, she with somebody else anyway. She ratted on her. So me and her went in a relationship. But soon as she seen her slipping, right? And she had another man. She called me. She took the number and called me. That's crazy, right? I don't even know how she got the number. Oh, cause she was talking so much about me. That's what it was. So she called me. She said, you ought to see me. She ugly. You ought to see me. I'm a man now. You see what type of man I am at this time. So I'm like interested that night. I'm talking about coming through that night because I had it that good. So I'm like, what you trying to get up tonight? You want to hang out tonight? She talking about hooking up. She talking about, you ought to come over here and see me and be with me and all of this. She stay on West Boulevard. I ain't scared of West Charlotte. She stay in West Boulevard off of Remount, over there by Remount in West Boulevard. Behind the Golden Walk, that neighborhood by the Golden Walk, right? On the side of the Golden Walk. You know, you cross over the intersection, past the Golden Walk, she stayed in that neighborhood over there on the right-hand side, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna come through tonight. She said, okay. Now my girlfriend got off the phone. She let me this girlfriend I was staying with was from Buffalo, New York. She seen Rick James as a kid. Okay? She seen Rick James, as in the musician Rick James. So I'm living with this female. She done seen Rick James as a kid. She said Rick James waved at her as a kid. Hey, little girl. She called Rick James' attention. No, that's a crazy story right there. No lie, bro. No lie. She stayed in Buffalo, New York, and Rick James seen her as a kid. So I'm staying with this female, right, from Buffalo, New York. So she in the South, in Charlotte, right? And so this girl done called me from, I think, Baltimore. She was from Baltimore. Pam was from Baltimore. I think so. And so my girl knew that this was another woman interested in me. She was like, you gonna go over there and have sex with her? This is what the woman from Baltimore, I said, yeah. She talking about having sex. I used to have this kind of relationship with my females that I'm living with. And I don't doubt. See, how I was able to live that life is because, and this is basically my testimony. How I was able to live this life is because I didn't mistreat the women, no woman that I was with. I ain't mistreat no woman. So she didn't never see the men mess up. Why you can't be a player is because you mistreat women. You mistreat one over the other. Most women have no problem if you have an open relationship with other women, if you don't mistreat them and they still get everything they want out of the relationship. So I was giving her what she wanted, and she didn't care, long as she got what she wanted, right? So she was like, that was the basis of our relationship. She was like, you gonna go over there and have sex with her? I was like, yeah. So she took me over there. My girl took me to West Boulevard, and I went over there. Okay, she dropped me off. She came back and got the phone. She left the phone and came back and got it, and then like that. So so I'm at this girl's house. Remind you, this is Sheila's house. Most important information. This is not Pam's house. I'm in Sheila's house, the girl I met at Walmart, and I'm in her house engaging her friend. Not a good situation. Not a good situation. That's dangerous. You know, so I'm in her house, seeing her friend. Her friend done invited me over to her house. So I'm over there. I get in. I got a little weed. We start smoking a joint, right? We start playing around. Before you know it, we get into it. She got a little beer or something like that. So we like so tipsy, we like laying in the middle of the floor in the living room with no clothes, in our underwear and all that, right? You remember, now remind you, my cousin done talked to the daughter. The daughter is living there. The daughter comes in the living room. I ain't got no clothes on. Pam shouldn't even have me out there like that. She should have let me know, oh, the daughter gonna be coming in and out the room. I ain't know what was going on. I ain't know who was in the house. So like she came out in the room, out the room and everything. She was jealous. That's what it was. She was instantly jealous. You know, so she told me that's the daughter. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, my cousin. I probably said something to the effect, my cousin's supposed to be talking to her. She had a pimp. This girl was tricking. Mind you, this is West Boulevard. So this 19-year-old girl was tricking. How I know, Pam is talking to me about it. She telling me about, yeah, you know, going through these politics. She, you know, she with this dude and pimping around and all this, yeah. Like she need to stop, kind of stuff like that. So that's how, she said, that's her pimp in there. That's her pimp. So, me and Pam done kind of had sexual relations already. Now, here's the punchline. Don't you know Pam got another man in the house? She done brought me all the way over there. Bro, this is stuff for the movies, man. I can make a movie about this. She tell me, oh yeah, I got another man in the house. What? This dude might trip. I'm high, I'm drinking. You done brought me over here and somebody else in the house. Some other dude is in the house. It's nighttime, everything. But I'm young and I ain't scared. I'm young and not scared. So I'm just sitting over there like, well, hey. So me and her slept the whole night in the other living room. What the story was, she told me, oh, he done passed out on the door. He done got so drunk. Somehow he fell on the door and she couldn't even get in the door. No lie. He done fell on the door. He done got so drunk. She called me. So the real reason she called me because her man got drunk. And she didn't want to save face. She called me. She already had a man in the other room. There for sex. He was there for sex. He didn't live there. He got so drunk, he passed out on the door, and she couldn't get in the door because he passed out. She couldn't open the door. So me and her had sex that night. We wake up the next morning, right? Now I finally get to meet this dude. I kind of feel sorry for him now that I met him, you know, because he done passed out drunk, you know, and I done had them nights. And you know, and now some other dude is in here, so I'm just kind of cool. I'm letting them put it together. I ain't really saying nothing because I ain't in no relationship with this woman. But I'm just letting them put it together. You know what I'm saying? I'm you know, but I ain't trying to like cuff her and show him any kind of, I ain't showing any affection to this woman to make him further know that me and her kind of together. He ain't putting it together. He ain't putting it together at all. So then I get a blunt from the pimp. The pimp sold me a blunt. I had a little money. He sold me a blunt. Me and her started smoking together. This is like the afternoon. Now we watching TV in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? So me and him and her is in the same room, which is awkward. It's awkward for me. So in the middle of that, the plot thickens. Sheila comes home on her lunch break. Oh, man. So I'm sitting in there around close to afternoon. Sheila comes in on her lunch break, fully grown woman, voluptuous, good-looking woman. Her daughter told her I was there because her saying my name or whatever. That's how she knew. The whole family knew who I was. So, because that's how interested Sheila was in me. I didn't know she was that interested. Okay? So her daughter knew who I was. She put two and two together. She told her mom I was over here having sex with Pam. That's about my most doggy story, man. So Pam, Sheila come home from lunch break. No lie. She walk in the door, and I'm just keeping my composure. Remind you, I'm sitting with this woman on a love seat. Her boyfriend, the dude she was trying to have sex with, is on this lone couch by himself. But me and her sitting together, but he ain't putting it together. Sheila comes in and sits on my lap right in front of her. Boom. She ain't mad at me or nothing. I'm in her house. I didn't ask to come over her house. This is her house where I could have stole from her house. I could have been a criminal, anything. This is when I was young, man. This is when I was young. So, yeah, I'm like almost 30 at this point. I'm 30. I'm actually, no, I just turned 29. Actually, yeah, I turned 29, actually. And when I met the woman from the South Bronx, I actually was 28. So I was 28 when I started living with the one from the South Bronx. The next year I was 29. Hold up. Yeah. Well, hold up. Yeah. I was 29. Yeah. I was 29. So I'm over Sheila's house, and Sheila is like, Sheila comes on her lunch break and sit on my lap. This is a voluptuous woman. She's sitting on my lap, boom, right in front of Pam. Remind you, Pam already done had sex with me. So I'm soaking it up. I'm going along with it. She ain't saying nothing to me. She was like, hey, Marcello. She came and sat on my lap, everything, right in front of her. You think I'm gonna say no? So then she left like that. Pam was mad and went into the other room and everything. And how you gonna be mad and they ain't even your girl? That's your girlfriend's boyfriend. But she already was with me, so that's what it was. So Sheila left again to go back to work. So we all in the living room. Once Sheila done sat on my lap, and she's showing me what she got. That's all the woman. This is what she doing. She's showing me she got more body than Pam. She did. She had more body. That's what she's showing me. That's what she was showing me. That's, you know how women go show you what you missed. So she's sitting on my lap, and she got way more body and all of that. Man, way more body. She got way more. But somebody else is in the room. So it's like a couple. I'm sitting like a couple. Now where I can, do all this other stuff. This other dude is still sitting there. He's sitting there seeing this whole thing. So that made it look better that he seen Sheila come in. You feel me? He seen her sit on my lap. So that worked perfectly. Where it looked like I wasn't having anything to do with Pam. But Pam was mad. That's why you could tell it was something wasn't right. But anyway, Sheila left and went back to work. She was a good working woman too. Once again, I got them working women. She was a good working woman. And Pam wasn't working. Pam was kind of on hard times and living with her, and she was in between jobs, I think, and all of that. She was that kind of female, having sex with another man, another woman's man, you know what I'm saying? And she ain't doing nothing, and she living now. But I'm a young man. I'm still in my 20s, so I'm going along with it. So, like I said, Sheila left again, right? So I'm feeling good about Sheila. I'm thinking about the body. I'm thinking she's sitting on my lap. I'm kind of blown away. That was our first really interaction because I just got a number at Walmart. Nothing really happened. So I'm like, that felt real great, that connection. So I'm like, I'm done with Pam, basically. I'm waiting for her to come home. You know, I done played that submissive position where I'm, you know, the woman in the house. I'm with the woman in the house. So I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like, I'm finna be with her. I'm finna go in the other room and lay down for till she come home. So now I'm kind of expressing loyalty towards Sheila. You know, I ain't completely a dog, you know, even at that time, you know. So I said, look, I'm gonna let y'all be in the room. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good day. Now that's Pam and this dude that was drunk the other night. They in the living room by themselves. I said, I'm gonna leave y'all alone, right? Because really, I'm just trying to get away so I can kind of get ready for Sheila. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing my cards right. This is her house. I'm trying to get with her, right? So, I go in the other room to just kind of let them do what they do. I already done kind of been with Sheila, Pam. I want Sheila. Sheila done came and sat on my lap. That connection just kind of did what it did. She knew what she was doing. She came all the way home on the lunch break. That's why she did, just to see for herself. So I went into the other room just to kind of just sleep for the rest of the day. That's what I planned on doing. It's a ghetto house and they didn't really have no TV or nothing. You know how it is. I just went into this other kind of empty kind of room and laid down for the rest of the day. You know, and Pam comes into the room. Oh, remind you, every time I'm going to the bathroom, she coming into the bathroom playing around me. When I leave the room from this dude, she coming into the bathroom with me. Crazy, man. That's how she was. And so I left them alone. Went into the living room. Went into the other room. They in the living room, right? Pam comes into the room with me. I'm like, hey, I just wanted to leave y'all alone. You know, I'm gonna lay down till Sheila come home. I think I said it like that too. She was like, nah, she wanted to come have sex. So she came into the room. Me and her started having sex. Everything like that. Dude realized what was going on. Finally, I hear him yelling in the other room. No lie. I hear him yelling. None of it is a lie. I hear him yelling in the other. God. Pam is so mad, she want to do something to him. Like she want to hurt him. She talking about hurting him. Like that. I'm like, man. Mind you, she from Baltimore. So gotta kind of take it seriously. She was like, she wanted to do something to this dude. She wanted to really hurt this dude. And and he was yelling. I remember how violent she talked. It wasn't good. She talking about doing stuff. She sounded like she was talking about drama. Like I was like, man, like, cause he was yelling and everything, and he knew what he was doing. And yeah, man. All of it was always, you know, me and her had that time. Now, after that happened, me and her had sex. I still kind of chilled out. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still on my mission. You know, because initially, me and Sheila, the one really talked. So I was still trying to talk to her. So once she got home, me and her talked in the room. She was like, she couldn't be with me because, you know, Pam knew that she liked me, right? She really, really liked me. And that's what she expressed. That's why she couldn't forgive it, what Pam did, because she knew that she really, really liked me, and that's why she called me and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. So I had to take it for what it was. I had to take that walk of shame. Well, you could say however you want to put it, but I didn't get to stay. You know what I'm saying? Me and her didn't talk anymore. The last time I seen Sheila, ironically, was on the east side of town at a bus stop. And I was just like, hey, Sheila. It was weird. I'm telling you, it was the strangest thing. I got some stories for you, boy. I seen Sheila on the other side of town. And I think that she transferred to a different Walmart. That's what I think happened. Because it was 2 different Walmarts. Yeah, but it was still the east side. Yeah, I seen her like at the Central Avenue Walmart when the Walmart used to be on Central Avenue, and so she was at this other Walmart, and still over that way, kind of more near Garden City, kind of over that way, I think. So then I just seen her at the bus stop, and I promise you, it looked like Sheila was out of her mind, bro. No lie. Like I can't describe the look she had on her eyes. Maybe it was at her job. Maybe something happened at the job, but she didn't look like the Sheila I remember. You know what I'm saying? She was at the bus stop kind of like in the evening time, and I'm a country boy. I was just walking around. This is crazy. I was just walking around. And I definitely, this is how country Charlotte is. And the further you go back in time, you got them old school stories. No lie, she was at the bus stop. And I'm like, by herself, nobody else there. That's what made it even funnier. Nobody else at the bus stop. This was a bus stop kind of isolated, one of them type of bus stops. And I seen her, I was like, hey, because I looked her in the face enough to see that it was her, for sure. And I was like, hey, Sheila, what's up? And I think she just spoke to me and didn't say nothing else. I think she was still mad about that. Maybe her and her friend fell out more. You never know what happened. After that day, when I left, more could have happened and everything, and she could have said a whole bunch of stuff. And so when she saw me again, I just said, hey, what's up, Sheila? Like that. She was like, hey, how you doing? Something like that. Like, hey, how you doing? Like that cold, like just nothing. But when I walked to her eyes looked bugged out. Like she looked like she was like, that's all I remember. Her eyes looked way bugged out, bruh. But I think that's what made me pay attention to it a little more, cause the eyes, I'm just walking past this person, I don't try to holler at everything I see, but I noticed this woman's eyes, and I said, that's Sheila. And she might have had the Walmart jacket on or whatever, that little Walmart uniform thing. I'm like, hey, what's up, Sheila? For sure enough, I spoke to her. That's how I know it was her. I was like, hey, what's up, Sheila? Like that. And she barely spoke, everything. I just kept walking, because I already knew what it was and how it happened. Everything happened. And that's the last time I saw her, man. You know what I'm saying? And but the reason why I'm telling you all this stuff, because it gives you an idea. It needs to be said with understanding who I am as a person. Now, that's part of my life story, you could say. And a Christian shouldn't have a problem. I can tell my life story. And I can tell it to you as it happened and my emotion behind it. You know what I mean? What led me into it and all the emotions behind it, And you know what I mean, right? So, but I'm presently practicing abstinence. I haven't had sex in 10 months, and for people that may lack opportunity because they might have STDs or something like that, nothing ever stopped me in my life from getting a woman, ever, in those situations. I could get a woman right now out there if I wanted to, but it don't make sense to me right now because I'm not in a position to do anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not, and I need my own foundation. I need my own situation. That's just the wisest thing to do. I just left another woman. So see, you can see, I'm only here in this room because of a woman, a female, a real female. I'm only in this room because of that. I wouldn't even be here. I would still be probably back in my other apartment, or I would have a new apartment. I left a woman and moved down south to be with a woman, and that's why I ended up here in Brooklyn, because of me being with a woman down south, and it didn't work out, and I shot back up here and got housing again, and so that's the reason why I'm here. So that tells you my whole story is, part of my story is these women, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's suicide for people to think I'm about some children. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Do you hear all my stories? Now imagine me. See, that's the point of this. That's why I kept going with it, because you know, you need to see what type of man with all these politics against my name. You need to see what type of man I actually am. Now you see, man. You know, I had all kind of scenarios with females. There's more stories. I mean, I met this one nurse. Last story. I met this black nurse, right? She was like 23 years old. Beautiful, a nurse, had her scrubs on, nice, thin, chocolate, dark skin, beautiful, right? I'm working at the thrift store at this time. So I'm working here and there, you know? I'm working at the thrift store this time. So I'm like, at this thrift store on the east side of town, you know, I'm working on the east side of Charlotte. So I'm like throwing away some stuff in the dumpster, like some stuff that we can't use at the thrift store. There's an alley behind the thrift store, and this a nurse is walking behind the alley in broad day, right? So she was like really eyeing me and looking at me when I walk by. I'm on the clock, I'm working, right? I'm just looking. She walks by. I said, man, if she look at me like that again, I'ma talk to her. She circled back around and asked me for my number. No lie. This was the type of dude I am. She gave me her number. So I asked her, I mean, I got confidence, but she gave it to me so easy, I had to ask her right there on the spot. That's what type of man I am. I said, what made you give me your number? I asked her that. That's how you know I ain't an arrogant, narcissistic person. An arrogant person gonna say, well, yeah, she gave me her number. Why not? You know, but I was like, I asked her, I said, why you gave me your number? That tell you what type of man I am, how humble I am. I said, what made you give me your number? She said, I like what I see. I like what I seen. This is a nurse, an RN. I think she was an RN, right? Good girl. I was living with a woman already. I had stability. Stability gonna speak to you more than just even sometimes the right woman. You know, you got a woman that's stable. You might see another good woman while you're with this woman that got you stable, and you ain't gonna go with that other woman because this woman is more stable, right? So you know, this girl was 23 years old, perfect age. So me and her started talking on the phone. She gave me her number, right? I'm telling her everything I'm gonna do to her sexually, you know what I'm saying? I'm that confident. I'm gonna let her know, mind you, I'm living with a woman, I'm working, everything. So the time comes, she come through. No lie. She come through with one of her other nurse friends. And I guess she had been talking about me, so when the other nurse woman wanted to talk to me. So, this is one of my kind of dog situations too. So I'm staying with a female, but I need the house to have sex with this girl. So I wait till my woman leave. We're actually waiting my woman out. We're sitting in the parking lot in a gas station waiting for my woman to come out and go to work. Once she leaves, I had been talking to the other nurse in the car, and she was kind of jealous by the time we got together. She was like, well, my mom told me what is for me is for me, and so something like that. Because me and her wasn't really talking in the car while we was waiting for my woman to come out, but I was talking to her friend, which was a little older. But I think what it was she was she would want some action too. That's what it was. But and me and her kind of connected more because she was more mature. And anyway, but me and her wind up still going to the house. It was during the holidays because we had the tree up, right? So I had vodka, we drinking and everything. And I promised to do what I said I was gonna do to her, you know, as far as experience, because she wasn't a virgin, but she didn't have no real sexual experiences. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just being honest with you. And so she had an orgasm, her first squirt. She never squirted before in her life. So she had her first orgasm, everything like that. This is for adults. I'm just being honest with you. So you know, she had that experience, you know what I'm saying? She left everything. We messed around, doing a little more stuff, and she left. You know, and I don't know what happened with that situation. I don't know what happened with that woman. But that's just showing you what type of man I was. You know what I'm saying? I was living with one woman, bringing other women into the house. You know, and but I did it respectful. You know, I didn't get caught having sex with no other woman in the house or nothing like that. And the women knew I was having sex with other women. I had open relationships. See, that's like the difference between a cheater and someone that. Cause I told my women they can have sex with other men too. See, that's the other part of the story is that I didn't explain. I've always let my women, if they want to go have sex with other guys, that's okay. See, that's how I was living. What made me live like that at that time was after my divorce. After my divorce, I just wanted to be free. I just wanted to have sex. And I just wanted to have fun with women and let them do the same thing. I just offered that freedom. You know what I'm saying? And but women didn't take advantage of it. Every woman I was with, I really meant it. It wasn't reverse psychology. You can go be with another guy if you want to, and you know, just long as me and you holding each other down, you know what I'm saying? You can go be with have sex with another guy if you want. Most women gonna say, men always know these words that operate like I do, like I used to. They'll say, no, I just want to be with you, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So I've had women say, nah, I just want to be with you. You know, so but I gave them the opportunity to go be with other dudes. See, that's the difference between me and other dudes. Some dudes will go be with other women, but they won't let the woman they with, be with other men. And see, that's what made me totally cool. That's what made me totally cool. Like, it's one thing to talk about, oh, okay, you can be with these different women, and et cetera, woo, woo, woo. And they let you be with other women, but I let them be with other men. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how it was, man. That's how anchored my situation was. And see, that type of person and personality can be a pimp. Because a pimp is basically a man that a woman come back to after having sex with all these other dudes. You're going to come back to me. Because I got the flair that you like, I got the style that you like, I got the flavor that you want. You know, now you can have sex with all these other dudes, but you're gonna want to be with me. By the time I was 16, I could have been a pimp at 16 years old. At 16, I could have been a pimp. When I went to Los Angeles, they wanted me to be a pimp. That's how people seen me. And naturally, I could have been a pimp at 16, like I said. This girl wanted me to come to the motel and be with her while she have sex with other dudes. What you think that is? She telling me to come to the room, a motel, while I'm only 16 years old. This girl is no older than about 16. We would have got I don't know if we would have got arrested. No, we wouldn't have got arrested. Oh well, prostitution. We would have got arrested for prostitution. Yeah. And I would have got arrested to whatever the pimp charges are in that situation. You know, maybe. Maybe. But definitely she would have got arrested though. But she called me late night one night and said, yo, I want you to come through and be in the room with me while I'm having sex with these dudes. That's pimping. I was only 16. I could have done that at 16. When I went to LA in my 30s, a dude named Cuba, black dude, probably in his early 60s. He was on the streets in Skid Row. He said, man, you know what? You need to be pimping these girls, man. This an old school dude. So I ain't tripping. And that's what and I didn't tell him my story, but I naturally could have been a pimp at 16 because the woman gonna come back to you. She can have sex with all these dudes, but a good pimp, a non-abusive pimp, a good pimp, a natural pimp is this, what people don't know, without abusing a woman. She can have sex with all these other dudes, and they might even have bigger penises and everything. But she likes your flavor, she likes your style, she likes how you carry yourself, and she want to spend her time with you. That's the pimp. That's the person that's the pimp. If a girl has sex with all these dudes, but she still want to be with you, you the pimp. She already having sex with the dudes, so why not get money? Is what some people say. and she's still gonna be with you, and she coming back to you, bringing you the money. So, you know, I could have naturally been a pimp at 16 years old. What that tell you about me? Let alone being some weirdo with y'all. That's why I was suicide. As soon as I picked up on the politics, I was like, this is suicide. This is gonna be easy because of my credibility, man. Just I got reputation for that, you know. So if you thought you was gonna find me to be a weirdo, no, you're not gonna find me doing that. You're gonna have all these stories that I just told you. So that gives you an idea, man. If you don't get anything from this and you don't know what it is that you should get from this, is because I'm in extreme politics where people just play with my name. All these black people play with my name. Maybe you don't understand my situation. The Freemasons, the gang stalkers, and all these Americans all over the country, in California, North Carolina, New York, everywhere, put bad politics on my name like I was a pedophile, right? But when you heard all these stories, starting from my childhood, even having a kid, a girlfriend in my childhood, do you see any kind of energy like that on me? So that's why it's important for me to express who I was and who I am and what my mentality has been, you know, so that you can see who I really am. That's if nothing else is profitable out of that, what I just said, that's what's profitable, because you see truly who I am. Whether it's not matter if it's right or wrong. I'm not presently living like this. So if you just take me telling the story and how I told it as finding enjoyment in those things, I don't find enjoyment. The technicality is I'm not finding enjoyment in any kind of sex. You know, I left the last woman I was with, that I was supposed to be married with, 10 years. I ain't been with her in 10 months. I dedicated myself to this woman. You know what I'm saying? And so it's been almost a year since I even been sexual. You know, I don't watch porn. I don't masturbate. I don't ejaculate. I practice semen retention. Semen retention, you can go look that up. That's what the best athletes use. Semen retention, when you don't even ejaculate. That's what keep you on your A game. Anytime you got physical challenges, championships, sports, I'm just saying, you know, you'll find boxers that would talk about semen retention, football players, because your energy is not drained. If you when you ejaculate, your energy is drained. When you're not drained and you don't feel that feeling, that lazy feeling, you're gonna have more energy. Think about it. But if you having sex and you're an athlete and you know, having sex with your women for hours and hours, how you gonna go play a football game? You know, you're gonna feel that feeling. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be that focused. You know, it's gonna be on your mind too. All of that, your form might be thrown off. You know, so like right now in spiritual warfare, it does apply. It does apply. It's, you know, I practice semen retention, so I'm not even, that's what I have on my enemies. I'm not even ejaculating. So now that puts you back on track as far as, you know, purity. You know, that's why I can sit back and tell these stories and expect you to take me seriously, because I'm not doing anything. So then you take me seriously, you know. So, you know, but that's basically my life story. You know what I'm saying? I had to be a little graphic, but you need to know what type of man I am. You need to know. I mean, these people, these Freemasons swore up and down they knew who I was. That's why it's important. And you might not understand that because you don't really know me personally. But these people have told all the people in the country, California, New York, everywhere. You don't think I need to tell people what type of man I am? Let's just put it like this. You don't think it profit people to see my stories, of all the women I've been with, and they sit up here acting like I'm a weirdo? You don't think it profit anything? Of course it do. Because people see your real story. They see, okay, this dude, okay, he ain't living like that now, so that's where it's cleaned up good, right there. But we do see what the nature of this man. He's like the typical black dude with all these females, all these stories with these females. And ain't nothing they can do to change that narrative. Ain't nothing the lame can do, ain't nothing the sucker can do to change that narrative, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, man, glory to Yahweh. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. You know, it's just my testimony, man. That's it. I'm gonna say it's a testament to my life. It's the truth of my life. Put it like that. And I got a son. My son is 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? That shows you I'm a papa. I'm not a boy. I'm not a little kid. I'm not a peewee. You know, I got an 18-year-old son. My son will be 19 next year. I mean, next month. Next month. My son gonna be 19 years old. So, you know, I'm not no punk. I'm not no peewee. I got a kid in the world. I've been a married man. You know what I'm saying? I divorced my wife when it didn't work out. She didn't divorce me. I divorced her. So you see what kind of man I am? You see what I'm talking about? That's why I was suicide. That's what I'm saying. For them to play with me like this. So, you know, it's forward march, man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is very important. I think the right people will realize it's important. You know what I'm saying? For people to see you for who you are, to know you for who you are. You know what I'm saying? So that's it, man. You know, it's forward march, man. You know, we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it pushing. We're going to keep it moving in God's direction. Practicing purity, you know what I'm saying? No lust, no masturbation, no pornography. Abstinence until we get married. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. Let me make that very clear. You know, and not even masturbating, not even ejaculating. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm living my life. You know, this is the end of a 3-day fast. You know, I wanted to fast during this spiritual storm, you know what I'm saying, to get things going. You know what I'm saying? I mean, through this natural storm, this snowstorm, I wanted to fast with it. You know, so this is the end of a 3-day fast. I come off in like 3 more hours. So, you know, praise the Lord, a 3-day fast is accomplished. You know, glory to God. Another 3-day fast. That's 47 days of fasting since I've been here in Brooklyn. You know, and my offering should have hit Columbia today. My $1 million offering, that's the celebration. My $1 million offering should hit Columbia today. I sent the offering to Columbia for $1 million. Over $1 million. Actually, technically, it was 1 million. This may sound unbelievable to you, but it's true. $1,028,200. You know what I'm saying? That's $1 million. $1,028,200. That's how much it is. You know. And so, you know, it's like it's a beautiful situation. You know, that money's supposed to hit down to Columbia today. Like, it's been 10 days. I sent that the 14th, and so it takes like 10 days to get down there. So that's supposed to be today. You know, but definitely this week. That's why I can take a little bit of time to wait for my next cash hit, because it's supposed to hit the 27th. It's supposed to hit this afternoon. I mean, tomorrow morning. But they done switched my dates to where it hit the 29th. But it's okay, because that $1 million offering actually is what's going to be the highlight of this week anyway. That's what's going to be the highlight of this week. And or next week, whenever it hit. It's supposed to hit today, right? But that's after 10 days. It's supposed to take, you know, 6 to 21 days to get down to Columbia, but they estimate it's about 10 days. So, you know, it worked like clockwork, basically. You know, and it take about 10 days, you know, so that's supposed to be today. So, but if not today, it's going to be this week. That's going to be the highlight of the week, or next week. So I'm not worried about this other money that's coming in delay in the 29th. That's okay, because the highlight of this week and next week, still, if it hit the deck this week or next week, still going to be the highlight of this week or next week. That $1 million that hit, you know what I'm saying, down there in South Columbia, South America, in Columbia, South America, that money is gonna be the highlight between this week and next week anyway. So it's all good. I ain't worried about it. It's just a 3-day delay, and I can afford it, because that $1 million just hit down there in South America and Columbia. So, you know, it's all good. And just like I said, I'm on a fast right now. So this is all spiritual warfare. That's what I'm talking in terms of. You know, we still got things going. You know, it's a little delay that they try to do on purpose. You know, I'm still doing other things. That's what I'm gonna be doing. You know, yeah, so, but when I get that other money, I'm gonna be sending money down to New Orleans to the Treme community, which is the oldest African American community. You can go look it up, the Treme community. That's spelled Treme, and it's French, so it's Treme, right? Okay, so that's the oldest African American community in the whole country, in the whole world. You can go look it up. I'm gonna be sending money down there, and I'm gonna be sending money to my good brothers and sisters that's in California, my Mexican Christian brothers and sisters in California. I wanted to make sure I sent them some money and everything, and to their cause and their ministry out there. So I'm gonna be, my next offerings is gonna be to the Mexicans in California, and to a good church in the Treme community in New Orleans, which is the oldest African American community in the world, right? So you know it's going good, it's on and popping, man. It's all going good. Amen. In Jesus' name, amen.